Hello guys, welcome back to another video. As you can probably tell by the title, we have got a huge alphalete review haul today. We've got a lot to get through. Full video will be timestamped so you can skip to wherever you want. We're going to be going over a few different drops. Half of what I'm about to show you is already available on the website. The other half is from the new drop, which is happening on October the 25th, 12 PM CST, 6 PM UK time. The highlight of that drop really is that they have listened to the feedback and they are adding an optional rise for contour. So it's going to be coming in a mid-rise, which we're going to get onto a little bit of a rise chat because I feel like it's something that kind of needs to be addressed. You will notice there was a gap in my reviews. You guys know I would never ever leave you without a review before a launch. That is not like me. And to be totally honest, like, yes, I didn't really love the last Tenacity drop, but regardless of that, that's not really a reason to me for not doing a review, because I do the reviews for you guys. And there's plenty of things that I absolutely can't stand from alphalete that you guys eat up for breakfast, lunch and dinner. The reason why there was no review before that launch was because I got my package like a week after everyone else got theirs, and essentially I didn't have time. By the time I was coming round to doing my Tenacity review, we'd got an email to do our picks for the upcoming drop, already all on the website. I may as well lump it into one big video, so hopefully that's okay. But I just wanted to explain why that happened. I don't want you guys to think I'm getting lazy, I'm slacking, or I'm just thinking, oh, I'm not going to do a review because I don't like the drop. If you've been here a while, you'll know there's been many a drop that I have not loved, and I will still always do a review because it's not about me, it's about you guys and helping you guys find products that you love, or helping you guys avoid products that you're probably gonna hate. Second thing to address is, yes, we are edging closer and closer to Black Friday. If you want Scarlet Pump, it does seem to be selling quite well and quite fast. I know that in the UK, a couple of the sizes are already out of stock. I don't know how this contour drop is gonna go, this contour and Tenacity drop that's coming up on the 25th, but just a reminder that Black Friday is literally about 5-6 weeks away at the point of me filming this. You might want to wait to be able to get a bigger discount because they do discount the entire website, and I personally would rather you guys wait if you are able to and save more money by getting it on Black Friday. Just to be completely honest, slightly shooting myself in the foot here, but you guys know we're very conscious with our spending over here, we're conscious with our finances, and I feel like I would be doing you a disservice to not mention the fact that in literally pretty much a month this stuff will all be on sale for a much bigger discount. I do have a discount code with alphalete. It gets you guys 10% off your order. It's just Amy, but it also directly supports me with the brand. You guys are the sole reason why I'm still doing these videos nearly 6 years into it now. Well, 6 years into it off my own back, but nearly 6 years actually working with them now, which is absolutely insane. And you guys are the sole reason why I'm in the position that I'm in. So please, if you do use my code, whether it's on this upcoming drop, you've used it on the Tenacity drop, you used it on the Scarlet Pump drop, please always message me so that I can say thank you, because I will always take my time out of my day to thank you guys personally, to make sure I'm getting back to everyone, to respond to all your questions, comments, queries, anything that you want, even feedback that you guys have for me. I will always make sure that I'm dedicating time to respond to that. No pressure to use it, of course, but if you do decide to use it and you are planning on shopping, I do monthly giveaways just for people who are already planning on using my code, already planning on shopping. Please do not go and buy something that you don't want, that you're not considering buying, just for the opportunity of being in with an off chance, there we go, to win the giveaway. That's irresponsible. I definitely don't support that. It's just a way for me to be able to give back to you guys who were going to be shopping anyway. Other disclaimer, just really quickly before I get into it, because I really don't want this intro to be long because we've got so much to go through in this video. Please do not look at how much shit I have in this video and think you need that amount of stuff, you should go and buy this amount of stuff. You absolutely shouldn't. It's for review purposes only. This level of consumption is ridiculous. It's crazy. The reason why I have this stuff is to show you guys, and I do always give away a huge chunk post-launch of things that I don't need, but I will be giving a good chunk of this stuff away. It's not going to be related to code use or anything like that. So yeah, please don't ever feel any pressure to buy, even with me saying wait until Black Friday. You still don't have to buy it on Black Friday. I just wanted to disclaim that really quickly. I definitely don't believe that the only way of you guys showing me support is through financially supporting me through code uses. I think that's ridiculous and feels really unfair, especially for people who don't have expendable income to be spending on activewear. So I always like to do non-code use giveaways as well. So I am going to be giving away two £50, $50 gift cards. All you need to do basically is leave a comment below letting me know what you are most excited for in this drop, and I will pick 2 people by the time the drop goes live. I'm not going to put a date on it because I will probably forget. Sorry, that's all my disclaimers done. I just really wanted to explain myself a little bit because the thought of you guys thinking like I'm slacking or I'm getting lazy or I'm just like I don't need to do my reviews anymore because people are still support me anyway. No, I don't take any of this stuff for granted, and to be quite honest, like if I've not done a review, why should you support me? Like I've literally done nothing to help you. So I definitely don't take these things for granted. It literally was just a case of I got my stuff so much later than everyone else. So I'm gonna go over the new launch first, then I will go over the mini pump drop, then I will go over the tenacity drop. Like I said, timestamps will all be below. Quickly before I get into it, I'm gonna pop my measurements on the screen so that you guys have them, whether it's helpful in terms of rise, whether it's helpful in terms of sizing, anything like that. And I will also pop like my sort of fit preference on there as well, just so that you guys have that and you can sort of use it as a reference point for this video for sizing. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to get into, because this spans across the tenacity drop in particular and the contour drop, so I'm going to just talk about it once so that I'm not constantly just ranting about it throughout the video, because that's not going to be very helpful. So let's talk about rise, because there was a lot of confusion with the tenacity drop. There's a lot of confusion every time alphalete release a new rise, because ultimately I think sometimes the way that we as a company, I'm saying we, I'm not involved in how they decide to label things, to be honest. The way that alphalete as a company decides to label things is almost a bit too black and white sometimes, in my opinion. There is no such thing from any brand, in my opinion, as a true rise. That is going to mean a different thing to every single person because it completely depends on how you are built. So a product that is being marketed as mid-rise, for an average length torso, that might hit them mid-rise bang on. For a short torso, that might be high rise on them. For a long torso, that might be low rise on them. The same goes with like an ultra high rise. It might be like literally up to the titties on a short torso person. Ultra high maybe on an average torso, and then on taller people, it might just look like a normal high rise, just about covers the belly button sort of situation. So how something is going to hit you is going to completely depend on your build, not really your height, more to do with torso length, because there's plenty of tall people with super short torsos and there's plenty of short people with super long torsos, and there isn't really any like solidified ideas on what constitutes a long torso, because everywhere I'm looking, everywhere is saying different. When alphalete measured me when I went to Turkey, they actually said your torso is actually quite average. It's definitely like on the top end of average, but it's not long by any means. What I have is a higher belly button, so my belly button sits higher than most people's, and because people tend to dictate rise over where it sits around the belly button, something might look more mid-rise on me because my belly button sits higher than the average person's, for example. For reference, that's my torso situation. I think honestly, and this is a way I've tried to do it in my videos, and it's not perfect because it's always going to leave an anomaly out. If you sit on like abnormally, and I'm not saying this in a nasty way, but like an abnormally long torso or an abnormally short torso, you might still be left out of these catchments. But you will notice this year I've been trying to do it in ranges. So for me, I've always marketed pump to my audience, to you guys, as mid to high. Contour, like for alphalete, it's down as ultra high. In my opinion, it's high to ultra high depending on your torso length, because I think it would help people to understand, okay, if I'm a little bit shorter in the torso and this is saying mid to high, it's probably going to be high rise on me. If you're looking at something on the website and you have maybe got a more average long torso, you might be thinking, right, that's probably going to be mid, maybe like a little bit below mid. So I just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation about that before I get into this video, because there is no such thing, in my opinion, as definitive rises, but brands generally, they're going to go off averages. They're not going to base what they are saying a rise is off someone that sits outside of averages, which I understand feels unfair, because generally it's the shorter torso people who want those true mid rises on them, so it's not always the most helpful for that group of people, and I do fully understand that, unless it is, for example, a niche brand, brands that only cater towards tall women. There's some brands that only cater towards petite women, and those brands might skew a little bit outside of those averages, but generally brands will base what they are going to say a rise is, or what they are going to say a length is, based off averages, not people that sit outside of those. It gives you guys an explanation as to how I've been going about rise, how I want to communicate it to you guys, and how I think think it probably is best communicated. I'm going to be talking a lot about rises in this video, so I wanted to talk about it generally and broadly and explain to you guys how I'm going to be categorizing things. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into the video. So first up, everything I'm about to go over is going to be dropping for you guys on the 25th of October, 12 p.m. CST, 6 p.m. UK time. Like I said, code Amy will get you 10% off your order and basically keep me in a job and keep these reviews coming. So if you do find these videos helpful and you do choose to use it, please do let me know so that I can personally thank you. But the highlights of this drop, it's tenacity and contour, that's all it is. This drop is a little bit different for alphalete. It's not a restock because, like I said, there is a mid-rise contour, but it's pre-existing colours. There are no new colours in this drop. In products they've either dropped in before, so yes, it's a restock, or in styles that they didn't come in before. I definitely think there are certain colours that I really wish were a part of this palette that are not. Like, I would have loved contour in cerulean. I think people would have loved contour in neon coral. This drop is definitely not giving fall. Like, it's not screaming fall. I'll be honest, the only thing that's giving fall in this drop is the mini pump scarlet drop, which is already live on the website. So if you want a fall colour, go and grab that. But this colour palette, other than Anchor, it's not giving fall, it's giving summer. I do feel like alphalete this year have definitely skewed more towards brights. I would love to see more rich tones for fall. Colours like scarlet, yes, but also colours like blackberry purples, like even the iris purple that was in the tenacity drop. It's very barny purple still. I would love to see some more like rich fall tones and also just a better mix of neutrals in the mix. I would definitely say this is not my favourite colour palette. The tenacity drop was not my favourite colour palette. The drop is not giving fall, so I will just pre-warn you now. So I'm going to show you the colour palette. I've already done colour comparisons and all that sort of stuff when I've reviewed these colours before, because like I said, they're not new colours to the brand. So I've got Aurora, I've got Canary Yellow, I've got Anchor, and I've got Grove. Aurora is a bright highlighter green, like it is neon bright. It dropped before in tenacity, this time it's back in tenacity, but also contour for seamless. Canary Yellow, which is very much like daffodil yellow. It's not the buttercream yellow that's been trending this year. It's very much a straight up yellow. This has also already dropped in tenacity and contour, but it's coming back in a mid-rise version. You've then got Grove, which is this like gorgeous jewel toned green. As much as like I'm saying, oh my god, Grove again, I do actually really like this colour. I think it's a really nice colour. So Grove is coming back again in tenacity and also in seamless. Anchor, which has dropped already, this has dropped in Aura, and this drop we've got it in tenacity and also in seamless as well. It's just like a nice rich navy colour. It's definitely one of my favourite navies from alphalete. It just has a little bit more of a bite to it than colours like Whale Blue, Trusted Blue did. It's a little bit richer. I just find more flattering on me, so I do actually really like this colour. That is the colour palette for both tenacity and contour. Okay, I'm gonna go over top options first because I feel like that's gonna be quicker for me to go through. In terms of bra options, there are 3 bras within this drop. The first one is the Amplify minimal bra. I did not bother picking up any more of these. I'm gonna pop on the screen where my original review of that is with a timestamp so that you guys can go and find that. I don't like that bra. It doesn't work for me. It's not meant for me, so it makes sense that it doesn't work for me. But even on smaller chests, I'm seeing it roll on people, I'm seeing it gape on people. And just to be like blunt, I've not really seen many people wearing it since it dropped. I don't have that bra in the new colours, but I will pop on the screen what colours that bra is coming in. Notes basically on my previous review of that bra so that you guys sort of have like the down low on it. But yeah, the Amplify minimal bra is coming back. You do then also have the Lina bra coming back. This is one of my favourite bras from alphalete. So the fabric on this is in the tenacity fabric, 70 nylon, 30 spandex. It's this basically like suede-ish sort of feeling fabric. It's super soft. It has like a brushed slick feel to it. It's really, really, really comfortable. It's a little bit more tightly woven and denser than Aura, so generally things fit a little bit snugger in tenacity as opposed to Aura. If you've tried that before, it's basically like the denser, more compressed version. So the details with the Lina bra, it does come with padding. I always take the padding out. You then just just have two straps which just come over the shoulders like this, and sort of like scooping neckline here. It's definitely not too low, and it's also not too high either. I actually find the neckline on this to be one of the most flattering bras from Alphalete. Bra is this curved underbust detailing. They have it on the aura strappy as well, and it's probably one of my favorite features that Alphalete use on bras. I think it's so incredibly flattering, and I have had quite a lot of feedback from larger chested girls, definitely not like huge natural chests, very positive feedback from you guys who have bought this with bigger chests, saying it's one of the better, more minimal bras that Alphalete has. It's not as tiny as the aura strappy, it has a bit more coverage to it. It does have these darts either side, which personally I wish Alphalete would stop using, because the dart goes through both sides, both the back and the middle. Because I take the padding out, what ends up happening is it's really hard to get the dart on the inside and the dart on the outside to line up. So instead of it looking super smooth like this, like I don't mind that, it ends up looking like basically a triangle here, because you can see the back one poking through. For that reason, I'm not a huge fan of the darts that Alphalete use on bras. I just feel like it doesn't really do anything for me and just causes issues, if anything. Branding, the Tenacity branding is all super subtle. Tiny little A logo, and it looks like it's going to sit on the bust here, but once it's on body, trust me, it sort of twists to the side and you won't even notice it's there. It's into two over the shoulder, and then here you can either wear them pushed apart like this, straps into the middle like so. Now the only thing to be aware of is when you do this, it does sort of create this like upwards triangle hike. When I first got the Lina bra, I wasn't a huge fan of, because I felt like it was making my chest look huge, but I've come to wear it more, and the more I wear it, the less I mind it. I still definitely don't actually love it. I did film myself doing sprints the other day, and I just felt like it makes me look like my posture's really bad. It makes my chest look like it's hurling forwards almost. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. And the only other thing to note is when you put this in the washing machine, these like do twist around a bit. All you need to do is basically just, it's hard to show you because it's not twisted, we shuffle this around, it does twist around, and you can get everything to lie flat again. It's not broken if it comes out of the washing machine all twisted. I would say the bra fits better when you wear the straps in the middle. When you push them out to the side, you get a little bit of a sort of bulk of fabric, because obviously it has nowhere to go, which can just be a little bit unsightly in my opinion and a bit uncomfortable. But it also makes the chest fit a little bit looser. So I do think that this bra fits best when you wear the strap in the middle, in my opinion, and I also think it looks better when it's done like that. Just more flattering. I feel like anything that crosses on the back gives you such better shape than straps going straight over, but that's personal preference. So yeah, in terms of coverage for this, it's definitely more than the aura strappy, but it's still on the minimal side. Like, let's be fucking for real, like it's still a more minimal bra. As far as Alphalete's minimal bras go, if your chest is on the more moderate to pushing larger side, the Lina bra is probably one of their better options if you're not wanting a ton of coverage. In terms of this staying in place, I actually find this bra does stay in place really, really well for me. It doesn't hike too much. I feel like because it has this sort of thicker band internally around the bottom, I feel like it just helps it to stay in place well. I would say my only critique with the Lina bra is if you are taller, I feel like the straps do feel a tiny little bit short. It's not super uncomfortable, but they do feel like they could do with being like a tiny, maybe like half an inch longer, just because it can sometimes feel a bit like pulley, especially with the design at the back, but it's not super uncomfortable and it's not going to give you a headache. In terms of support, this is a low support bra. It doesn't give you any support whatsoever. So weight training only, smaller chest can probably get away with doing some cardio workouts and stuff in it. In terms of sweat, it does show sweat, and also be aware with Tenacity, with the brighter colors, especially if you are eyeing up Aurora. I've had this experience, and I know that some of you guys have as well. When you sweat in it, it's almost like the dye runs and it doesn't come out. Sometimes it comes out in the wash, but sometimes it doesn't, and it basically looks like a permanent water stain on the item of clothing. Yeah, in terms of pilling, Tenacity fabric can pill because it obviously has that sort of brushed element to it, so you do need to be careful. Not as careful as Aura, but you do need to be on the more cautious side with it. It's not a super high intensity durable fabric, just because it does have that brushed element to it. And then finally, in terms of sizing for this, I would say to stay true to size. I wear a size small. I have tried a medium and a medium is just too big. I would say to stay true to size with the Lina bra, and if you are between sizes and smaller in the chest, go with a size down. But if you are between sizes and you have a really big chest and you're wanting to try this bra out, I would definitely go with a size up. But for most people, you're going to want to stay true to size, and it's a very comfortable fit. It's not too tight anywhere. It's definitely one of the bras that I can wear for an extended period of time from alphalete, which is not the norm with their bras in my opinion. In terms of do I recommend the Lina bra? Yes. It might not look like I do because I only picked one up, but I already have loads, so I just didn't want to be wasteful with it. I really like this bra. It's probably one of my most worn bras from alphalete now. The quality, I've had no issues with it. I've had them for months and I'm not noticing like seams are coming undone, so I can really stand 10 toes on the quality of this bra. It's very flattering from the front, and yeah, other than like a couple notes that I have on it with the darts and the strap length, it's not enough to put me off not wearing it or not recommending it for you guys. Looking for something that is on the more minimal side but with a bit more safety added to it, because it's not as minimal as some like, you know, bikini top style bras. I think it's a great product, and yeah, other than that, no notes. Lina bra, definitely recommend. I would say it's most suited to implants, as always with alphalete, shock. Smaller chests for sure, and then in terms of naturally bigger busts, I would say moderate to D, double D cups, anything bigger, and I'm not sure if you will have issues with falling out of the bottom. Okay, moving on to seamless. We've got the Amplify open back bra. So this is different to the minimal bra. This one is just a safer and better bra in my opinion. It's definitely not my favorite from alphalete, but it's a damn sight safer than the other one. I just feel like the Amplify minimal bra is a bra that works for such a small number of people, like such a niche group of people. I'm not saying that it shouldn't exist because of that at all, full stop, because there's clearly still a market for it, but I just think, especially when we're sometimes limited to only like one bra per drop like we were with that bra, I think it would be nicer to have something that can work for a wider range of people. I'm going to hold it upside down because otherwise it just crinkles. You've basically got this sort of scooping neckline at the top here. It is quite booby and it definitely does sit low, just to warn you, but it's not too low. It's not like the Amplify deep V bra where a lot of people felt really uncomfortable in it. Not I, because I'm a hot, but some people felt really uncomfortable in it. Have this alphalete sticker logo on the front here, and it sort of like is almost like printed on a bot, which I don't love, and I also just don't love the sticker logo in general. These do peel off and they are incredibly flimsy, so just be careful with that. You then have a much skinnier ribbed bottom band than some other seamless bras. It's super skinny at the bottom and super subtle, and you do also have some like mesh contour detailing, almost like different textured fabric that sort of like curves under the bust down here. It looks fine on the yellow one, but on my Aurora one, it's so stark that it looks like there's something wrong with the bra. So just, if you were interested in the Aurora bra, be aware of the fact it looks very strange on that bra. It just really stands out on it in a way that it doesn't on the yellow. Crosses at the back like this, and yeah, it's 14 inches on a size small at the longest length, 15 inches on a size medium at the longest length. So I actually do find it to be very comfortable, and the straps do have like a decent amount of bounce to them. They're not like super stiff, but they are on the thin side. Like, this is definitely not going to be a strap that's going to offer you any sort of level of support. It's a very thin, flimsy strap, so just be aware of that, especially if you are bigger in the chest. Just be aware of that. It's definitely not made with big chests in mind, but I think it's something that's fair enough to know. And yeah, it's just super open at the back. It crosses over a bit and then it's just open here. You will find that because of this sort of design here, you will get like gaping almost at the sides. I think it's just unavoidable with this sort of design, to be honest. It does sort of gape with movement, so just be aware of that. In terms of the bra staying in place, I actually find at the bottom the bra stays in place really well. The issue I have is sort of with it slipping down at the top. This bra does come with padding, but do be aware, I don't know if there is a white one coming again, but if it is, the white one you can see the padding through, the yellow one you can see the padding through, and the Aurora one as well, you can see the padding through. So I would recommend you take the padding out and you either wear the padding against your skin or you wear like nippies. I think nippies are a much better option than padding for most people. So I would definitely recommend giving that a go if you're interested in the lighter colour bra. In terms of comfortability for this bra, the bottom band, it depends on the colour. I've definitely noticed this because on the original drop of this bra, I got the white in a size small and the grey in a medium. The medium was just too big, but the small felt really really snug under bust because my white was like almost stiffer sort of fabric. My yellow this time is super stretchy, so I'm not finding it as uncomfortable on that bottom band. So this is just a reminder that, like, yes, measurements can help, and if you are curious, a size small is about 10.25 inches on that bottom band. Measurements can help, but the feel of a fabric is also really important because two bras could measure 10 inches under bust, but if one is really restrictive with no give to it, that's going to feel very different on body to something that has more stretch. And my yellow one definitely feels stretchier, even though it measures the same as my white one did. So the size small is actually completely fine for me in this time round, whereas last time the size small was really tight on that sort of underbust portion. My Aurora one, however, in the medium, this fabric definitely feels a little stiffer on the Aurora one, and I feel like if I'd have got this in a size small, it would have been a bit uncomfortable. But then the size medium, it's a little bit too big. It definitely doesn't look bad, but I just feel like I have excess fabric, and I feel like because of that I'm not being held in by the bra properly. So with that being said, I will show you guys me in a small versus a medium. For me personally, for the reasons I've just explained, I do prefer a small this time round because it just fits me better and I don't have any issues with it. Because in the medium, I had it the first go around, I just have that excess fabric. But the difference with the small this time round is even though it measures the same, the yellow is a lot softer than my white was, so it's not digging into me as much as the white one did. Just in case anyone had that exact same experience as me last time, if you were curious about the yellow, it's actually really soft this time round and it's not as uncomfortable as my white one from the first drop of this bra was. I would say most people are going to want to stay true to size, but if you are between sizes, I would probably size up, just because especially if you do get a stiffer one, if you store back fat, and I feel like, I don't know if alphalete fit on anyone that has like an ounce of back fat to them, because it feels like those underbusts and I have like 30 inches, like it's definitely not wide rib cage by any means, it's definitely not a wide underbust. I just, God forbid, have body fat in that area. It feels like alphalete are not fitting on someone that has body fat around their back, because if you have an ounce of body fat, for a lot of their seamless bras in particular, you're cooked. Like, it's going to be really uncomfortable. But if you're between sizes for that reason, I personally would size up. Still a minimal bra, but it's going to give you a little bit more coverage than the minimal bra, for example, the one that's super wide and then super open at the back, the halter one. In terms of support, it's a low support bra. Like, the fabric, it's obviously seamless. It's not like a tight seamless. It's not like the sandy bra was. The super soft, like tight, like feeling pantyhose feeling sort of contour seamless fabric that you guys will be used to. But yeah, the support is low because of the fabric, but also like the straps hella thin, like they're literally razor thin. They're not going to do much, and they do have quite a lot of bounce to them as well. In terms of who I think this bra is best for, implants, shock again. Smaller chest, again, shock. Moderate sized natural chest, I would say, can definitely get away with it. Very naturally blessed natural chest, I would probably avoid this bra. In terms of sweat, it does show sweat, but yeah, that is the Amplify open back bra. In terms of do I recommend this bra, for me personally, it's not my favorite bra from alphalete. It's okay, it's not bad, but I'm definitely not, like, you guys know if you've been watching my reviews for a while, I don't like to blow smoke up a product's arse when it's just okay. It's okay. It's definitely not one of my favorite bras from alphalete. Honestly, I wish that they'd done the contour bra instead of this bra in this drop. It's just personally not my favorite. It's just okay. Okay guys, it's time to talk about the new mid-rise contour. So it's coming in shorts and it's also coming in leggings. The contour is back. Up until this point, you guys have only had the ultra high rise option. I would categorize that as high to ultra high. These ones I would categorize as mid to high, because I do think if you're short, especially because of the vertical stretch of contour fabric, like it's literally like pantyhose, it's so stretchy, you can definitely pull it up to be higher rise than measures, if that makes sense. So before I get into the rise and comparisons and all that sort of stuff, very quickly, I just want to basically run you guys through the details of contour if you're not already aware. So it has a 3-tier waistband, which basically moves from lower compression to higher compression to give you more of like a sculpted sort of look. And then it's super plain on the front, especially for the contour shorts. I'll show you the leggings in a second. You then do have a thicker bottom band. This, in my opinion, is the crack of the contour short. It's 1 inch as opposed to pump normal amplify, which is 0.75 inches on this bottom band. And what this basically does, first of all, rolls like a motherfucker, but it basically, in my opinion, pushes the glutes up because it has has this thicker bottom band, and it basically gives you like a lift effect without doing the whole like babooning and like literally like a bra for your ass cheek. It's not doing that. It's in a much more subtle way. No one's gonna look at you with these on and think the shorts are quite clearly lifting the ass cheeks there. No one's gonna look at you like that when you've got these on, because it's the bottom band that's doing it. It's very, 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 very subtle. In terms of the other details on the shorts, you have this sort of hexagonal sort of panel that just runs down the side, and then when you come around to the back, you have this sort of ribbed contour detailing that runs basically towards the front and then towards the back, and it sort of curves around and it just comes down under the butt cheek, probably like a third of the way in, and it's raised, so it's not like compressive, it's not tighter, it doesn't actually do anything, it's just a textural difference. It doesn't offer any lift, it's more of just a contour rather than a lift, which is why the name contour is so fitting for contour, because it's contouring, it's body contouring, it's not inbuilt lift, inbuilt compression. There is no compression built into these shorts other than through the waistband. 4-row scrunch, which is basically the standard for anything that's not pump from alphalete, and you have this sort of V at the top here which sort of comes down into it, and then a very stretchy scrunch. It has a lot of stretch to it. It's not like the pump one where it's quite stiff and it can sometimes hover. This one is very, 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 very stretchy. And for the shorts, they are meant to be a 5-inch inseam. I will just let you guys know that my blue did come in sitting shorter than that. My blue were actually 4.25 inches on the inseam. The rest of them are fine and they are 5, but this is the first time with contour I've had an inseam coming in off. It probably is a fluke, but just in case it's not and everyone else has the same situation, my anchor shorts did come in almost an entire inch shorter than the rest of the colorways. Whilst I'm doing details, it makes sense to just give you the leggings at the same time. They basically have the exact same details on the leggings in terms of the waistband, the scrunch, everything is the same, but the difference with the leggings is instead of having that sort of hexagonal print, you've got a lot more detailing on these. So you've got this sort of waffle texture, this waffle texture print, which basically runs towards the front of the quads at the top, and then it also runs around the back of the knee, and you've also got the ribbed paneling as well. Really hard to show you off body, but it's quite a significant portion behind the knee. Something that you really need to be aware of with these is how it looks on the inside. I and multiple other people have put nails, put tears in this waffle texture basically that's on the contour. Honestly, I wish they would take it off because I feel like it causes a lot of issues and a lot of people don't like this waffle texture. It's very like Gymshark circa, like I nearly said 2010 then, I don't think they existed then, but like 2016. What was the ones that had the holes in? If you know, you know. That's what this gives to me, and I've never liked the leggings for that reason. You will never really see me in the contour leggings unless I'm doing a shoot. I don't wear them, I don't like them, I don't like the waffle. I just prefer something that's more understated throughout the leg for me. I don't personally fuck with the contour leggings. The shorts I do, the leggings I don't, but those are basically the details. Everything is the same other than the details throughout the leg. The shorts don't have any waffle texture, the leggings do, and they have quite a lot of it. And in terms of the inseam for the leggings, they're really hard to measure because they sort of bunch up like this, but mine measure about 26 inches and it's so stretchy you can stretch it all the way down, like down your leg. You can get a lot of length out of these. So contour originally, batches vary, but I've had rises in my original high to ultra high contour anywhere from 8.5 to 9 inches. I would say on average they're most of them are like 8.75 to 9 inches in terms of the rise, and contour also has that vertical stretch. It's super stretchy and you can pull it up really, 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 really high. So that's the original rise, and for reference on me that just sits high rise. I can pull it up to be ultra high, but on me it does naturally just pull itself back down to being a true high rise on me. Mid-rise contour is Alphalete's shortest rise for a seamless option. It's lower than pump. I will also compare basically original contour to pump to these so that you guys can see the sort of basically like seamless staples almost, I guess, from Alphalete, or the most frequent ones on the website compared to each other. So contour anywhere from 8.5 to 9. Pump is pretty standardly 8 inches. The mid-rise contour, which is new, is coming in at 7.5 inches. Now something that you have to be aware of is contour has a lot more vertical stretch than pump does, so you might find even though it measures lower, you can make it sit at the same sort of height because it has that stretch, but it is on paper measurement wise 7.5 inches and it is their lowest option in terms of seamless rise. Now the rise will alter depending on sizing, so that is based off a size small across the board for all three of those. In terms of a medium, because I did get a medium to try, it bumped it up a tiny bit to 7.75 inches, and I'm assuming if you go down a size it might be like 7.257 inches. The way I would categorize these is probably mid to high. On me it's a true mid-rise. There's no, even in the medium with the bit of extra, it's definitely a true mid-rise on me. It does hit lower on me than pump does, but like I said, because it has that vertical stretch, you can pull it up a little bit more, but naturally where it wants to sit on me, it does sit a little bit lower than pump, which makes sense because it does also measure lower at the same time. If you are super short in the torso, I do think this will probably still be high rise on you, and if you have a long torso, this is definitely going to be a true mid-rise on you, if not bordering on like lower than a normal mid-rise on you, because it definitely is coming in shorter. Now in terms of where that length has been taken from, this is the interesting thing. They've not shortened the waistband. The waistband height is the exact same. With this, the rise has been dropped from that sort of space in the crotch region. So from the top of the gusset to the bottom of the waistband, the old contour shorts are 5 inches in that crotch space based off a size small. The new ones, it's 3.75 inches, which actually means that this waistband sits lower on your stomach as well. So if you are someone who has been wanting a little bit more compression lower on the stomach, it doesn't come all the way down, but especially if you are on the taller side, this will probably give you like a decent amount of lower stomach compression because the waistband is going to hit you at a lower point. So that is something to be aware of. If you've been wanting alphalete to lower things a little bit, the waistband does actually cut you lower on the stomach region. So that's something to be aware of as well. And because of the way that the waistband is done, you will also notice sort of like a dip detail almost. It's not built into it, but I do find that on body I get like a sort of dipped appearance in the front and the back for this new contour. I think my glutes are just sort of pulling the fabric down. Brings me into the back, also obviously being shortened at the back. I had a jump scare when I saw these out of the bag. I was like, there's no way my ass cheeks are fitting in there. So just to give you guys the re-up on that, if you compare these to your old contour, you've seen the contour scrunch is incredibly stretchy. You will notice that your contours may look longer than they even were when you got them because it does stretch out. That space does stretch out. You might get anywhere between 3 and 4 inches. Most contours straight out of the bag in a size small were 3 to 3.5 inches in terms of the glute space. On the new ones, that sort of glute scrunch space, so from the top of the gusset at the back to the bottom of the waistband, you've got 2.75 inches on a size small, and on a medium you've got 3 inches. So it's a significantly smaller space for the glutes as well. If you found that with the old contour, the scrunch really sit out of your glutes and it just felt really unflattering for you and you felt like you were giving long batty gal because it was just working its way up your lower back like the M5. I feel pretty confident in saying you shouldn't have that with these because it does measure so small. Do be aware as well, it's going to depend how much you're yanking things up because it does have stretch to it. These do sit in the glutes a lot better. Don't really notice the scrunch as much. It doesn't pop out of the top for me. It's obviously going to depend on how you are built. I think I just have normal batty cheeks and it's very flattering on me. So those are the main changes. It's basically that whole area around the hip has been shortened. It's basically been shortened. That's something to be aware of. If you have a short torso but longer glutes, you will find that the waistband will basically sit on your glutes now because of how short that glute space is. So you might not love that. Just to make you aware of it, that's something that you might notice with it. And the other thing to notice as well is in terms of measurements for these definitely do measure wider on the waistband than the original contours do. I'm going to pop in some clips and pictures and measurements here so that you guys can see, but essentially the old contour was more tapered in my opinion. These new ones have definitely been let out a little bit, but in my opinion it does make sense because when you're making something with the intention of it being more mid-rise, it's not going to go up to the point where you are smallest. It's not going to go past that point, so you don't need to really build that in. I've noticed with dfyne, because I have dfyne, which by the way, if you were curious about the rise on that, the rise on dfyne impact is 7.25 inches, so this is close closest to that. But obviously with dfyne, it's a very stiff fabric. I would say this doesn't hit quite as low as dfyne does on me. Nature of the fabric. The contour mid-rise definitely does sit a little bit higher. Measures a little bit higher, but also just the stretch, it does sit a little bit higher. But I noticed with my dfyne impact, they're not particularly tapered either. I think because you just have to factor in where it's going to hit you, it doesn't make sense to taper it absolutely tiny, because for most people it's not sitting at the tiniest point of their waist. If you're incredibly lean and really short and it does sit more high rise on you, you might notice that the waistband isn't as tight as you were used to with old contour because it's not as tapered. I've obviously already mentioned that with the anchor, mine did come in 4.25 inches, so it did come in a bit shorter than my old contours and other contours in the drop, just to make you guys aware. It could be a fluke, but I'm just mentioning it just in case it's not and other people have this issue. Other than that, the inseam is 5 inches, but this is another change that I want to signpost to you guys, is with the contour, they've always rolled. I am finding with the mid-rise, even though the rest of them measure 5 inches and they're totally fine, they are rolling a lot. I don't know, I think it might be because obviously they've shortened the glute space, so things are sort of being hiked more, especially at the back. If you didn't like how contour rolled before, or it rolled too much for you, you're definitely not gonna like these ones because they roll worse. They're like hot pants almost. Something to do with the fabric as well, which I'm gonna get into next, but just be aware that these do roll even shorter in my opinion than the original contour did. And I don't feel like, because of the fabric, which I'm gonna get into, I'm getting that sort of lift appearance as much. I feel like now I need to go into fabric because it's all sort of intertwined with this rolling issue. Contour fabric, it is the same fabric blend as Pump, it's the same fabric blend as normal Amplify. It is the 51% polyamide, 38% polyester, 11% elastane. However, with contour, it's more that like single knit jersey sort of fabric. With Pump, for example, you've got that like rougher waffle texture sort of piqué, I think that's what it's called, piqué effect, which is like a rougher, stiffer, seamless fabric. It's definitely more durable. If you're wanting more durable seamless, just get Pump. It's way more durable than contour. So with contour, you're gonna get that silky, smooth fabric sort of feel. Like it is incredibly delicate. It is super soft, which you just don't get with Pump. This is, the red is Pump, and you can see it's got this sort of like waffle texture. Contour is completely smooth and much thinner, and it's always been more delicate. I've said ever since contour came out that I don't think it's worth the recommended retail price. I love contour shorts, but I always tell people to pick them up in the sale because the fabric is not durable. The pilling that contour experiences is like no other seamless from alphalete. It's silky soft, it's super thin, it feels like tights, it's like pantyhose, so it's incredibly prone to pilling. For seamless, it just doesn't make that much sense for me, because for me, I'm going to lift in seamless. I'm not really going to run errands in seamless. I'm going to be doing my weight training, so it's not a durable fabric. This contour, in my opinion, across the board, other than my Grove, which I will get onto last, it feels thinner than my other contours. Now with contour, it comes in super soft, and the more you wash it, if you put it in the tumble dryer for example, it'll really stiffen up, but you shouldn't do that because it will damage the fabric over time. Over time they do stiffen up a bit and they do get less soft, but this contour, guys, it is so thin. It is like tights. Aurora and Canary Yellow, I expected this from because Canary Yellow was super sheer last time. Anchor, the leggings, it reminds me of, if you've been here a while, do you guys remember the Shadow Amplify birthday drop 2023, I think it was? I was so disappointed with that because it was such a dark colour and yet it looked like tights on my body. It looked like a low denier tight. That is what the Anchor leggings look like on body. Stood up, they are see-through. You can see my thighs through them. You can see my glutes through them. They look like a low denier tight. They look cheap. That is a sort of sheerness in a legging that, one, I don't expect from a darker colour, but two, that's a sort of sheerness that I feel like you see someone in and you want to tell them, like girl to girl, you want to tell them like, queen, your leggings are see-through. Like even when you're stood up, they're see-through. Razor thin, it's like tight. This is what Pump fabric is like. It's so much thicker than contour is. In terms of the other colours, obviously you've got canary yellow, which again, thin, super see-through, but almost doesn't feel as bad as Anchor, honestly. Like this, the sheerness in this, in my opinion, just comes from the fact it's literally a yellow single knit seamless. Aurora, which again feels like incredibly thin. This is definitely up there with Anchor for me. My Grove pieces just feel a little bit denser. They definitely still have the softness to them, and they definitely, as you can see, they are still thin, but it doesn't feel as bad. It does feel a little thicker, just not as soft as the other three colours in my experience. But yeah, I would say Anchor and Aurora are definitely the thinnest, then Canary Yellow, then Grove. I'll go through my squat tests now. Canary Yellow and Aurora, you can see on body there is a clear difference between the waistband and the colour of the leg. They are totally see-through. Canary Yellow in a medium, just for reference, but that's to show you as well, in a size up, it doesn't make that much of a difference. Definitely worse on Aurora in my opinion. And I know that people will say just go commando, but with Aurora in particular, I did actually test this theory out in front of my mirror. I was like, could I actually, because I could see like in Aurora and Canary Yellow, but Aurora worse, I can literally see when I'm stood up my ass cheek freckles, and I don't even have to stretch the fabric to see them. I can see everything in Aurora. Can I go commando in this color? Like, is that gonna work? No. Please, please, please. You will save your dignity more if you actually just say, fuck it, I'm wearing nude underwear with this, and you'll be able to see the nude underwear. But I would much rather someone see your nude underwear than your literal asshole in the gym. Put it this way, when I was doing my RDL testing in front of the mirror, I was seeing things, seeing parts of my body that I didn't know existed. Reading between the lines, I was seeing things that I've not really caught, you know, super up close and personal with before. With contour, you don't have the saving grace that you have with pump of that thick ass scrunch. You don't have the ass crack coverage with this that you get with pump. Pump, in my opinion, can get away with a lot more because of that scrunch. Sizing up, like I said, I've got yellow in a medium, doesn't help. It's still just as sheer. They're sheer standing up, they're sheer squatting. I would avoid these colours if you do not want a sheer bottom. If you've got thigh tattoos, you're going to see them. Anchor, still really bad. Anchor is see-through. It's see-through stood up, especially in the leggings, see-through when I'm squatting. I thought that was going to be the colour that I could be like, yeah, go and get this colour. I wouldn't recommend it. It looks really cheap. I think you can get away with the shorts more than you can the leggings. In the words of Kate Garraway from the Traitors, I'm flabbergasted by the Anchor leggings. Like, I don't think I've had an experience this bad with a legging since the Shadow Amplify leggings. In terms of Grove, I would say Grove is actually probably the best colour in this drop for sheerness. It's definitely not squat proof. If you've got thigh tattoos, glute tattoos, you're still going to see them, but it's not as bad as the other colours in my opinion. I don't think it's quite as bad. In mind, generally sheerness is worse on leggings than it is shorts. It just stretches down more of your body, so the fabric is already more stretched. In terms of how different colours fit, I would say they honestly all feel pretty similar. To me, the one that feels loosest across the board is my Aurora. That one definitely fits the least tight. I would say Grove fits tightest. At the bottom, I would definitely put Aurora. Canary Yellow and Anchor, I would say, fit really similarly to me. None of them are like abnormally tight. I would say Aurora is definitely notably looser for me. It's just super thin and super stretchy, and also does measure bigger as well with both my leggings and my shorts. With this contour, it's not as compressive in my opinion. The leg has never been compressive anyway, but these ones really do feel like pantyhose. Because the waistband is more mid-rise, it's been let out a bit and it's not as tapered. So I don't find these as tight as normal contour, in all honesty. I did get smalls and mediums, and I can definitely still do both. Like, my experience with contour is I can do small for like a high compression fit, or I could do medium for like more of a comfortable fit, but it's still got compression to it. I definitely feel the same with these, but I would say a small is a more comfortable compressive fit. It doesn't feel as tight on me as the old ones do. I think that's just because of where it's hitting me and the waistband being let out a little bit. They just don't fit as compressive in my opinion, and they're all incredibly soft and incredibly stretchy. Grove definitely fits the snuggest, but it's not a digital violet sort of situation, or to the point where I need to completely change sizing. And if you were someone who had to go up before because it was just like gut-wrenchingly tight, I would say with these you can probably stay true to size. And if between sizes, you are basically going to want to size these to your preference now. If you are between sizes and you want a high compression fit, you can definitely go down a size. And if you're between sizes and you want something a bit more comfortable, you can go up. But generally, I think these fit pretty true to size now. I don't really need to change my sizing with these. More comfortable in my opinion. I would still say it's going to give give you compression, but it's not going to be gut-wrenchingly tight. In terms of rolling, like I said, these do roll, but I just feel like these, I think because they've dropped that sort of height around the glute region at the back, the rolling on these is just so much worse for me. So the shorts really do roll up to be actual hot pants. With the anchor, just be aware, I am getting some inconsistencies with my inseams this time. I think because they've shortened that glute space, which fair enough, it maybe should have been compensated with a little bit of extra length, because now they really do fit like hot pants and they roll so badly, which I think is due to that change, but also the fabric. The flimsier and thinner a fabric, the more it rolls, and the more severely it can roll, and the less likely it's going to get caught under the butt cheeks. It feels very hot pant-like and very rollish. In terms of sweat, Contour does show sweat, so you do need to be aware of that. In terms of pilling, it's incredibly pill pro. Bags, Velcro, gym turf, you need to be incredibly careful with, because before you know it, you're going to be walking around looking like a buccal sofa. Very, 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 very delicate, seamless. If you want something more robust, just get pump. Honestly, you save yourself a headache. Camel toe, I do sometimes get a camel toe in these, but I don't find it to be anything too noticeable. And I also don't find that with like the crotch being shorter and the glute space being shorter, I'm not experiencing like tightness around the coochie area. I don't feel like I'm being strangled. It's still pretty comfortable. The only thing I would say I do notice is I do get a lot more dipping at the back now. When I'm squatting, that scrunch is definitely pulling a lot more over my glutes, so I definitely do experience more of like a dip. I have found that with the ankles on the new Contour leggings, I am noticing that these aren't as flared as the other ones. They still have a flare to them, but they're about 0.75 inches less wide than the original ones were. So if you found that they flared on you before, they might not now. I don't want to say with certainty, because they've always been okay on me. I guess I've just got chubby ankles. They are a little bit tighter on the ankle now, so just be aware of that. So yeah, mid-rise Contour, you've got the shorts, 5-inch, should be 5-inch. You've got the leggings as well. For me personally, the leggings are a pass, and they're always going to be, because I just cannot stand the waffle detail. I've put holes in 2 pairs of Contour leggings, which I can say I've never put a hole in an alphalete legging before, and I know it's happened to multiple other people. So for me personally, I just pass on the leggings. In terms of the Contour short itself, I'm struggling with this one, because in a strange turn of events, guys, you guys know I used to ride at dawn for my high-rise options, and by the way, these are not replacing Contour high-rise. That is still meant to be an option, and I do think they've done this in a much better way. Yellow and Grove did come in the high-rise to ultra high-rise option. We have technically had both. If I'm going to be really fussy, it would have been nice for the new colours, Anchor and the Aurora, to have both options, but I believe, from what I'm aware of, this is not replacing, it's just an additional option. I feel like for people to feel like it's an option, we need to see all colours that are dropping in both rise options, which I know might be unrealistic. That's when it feels like a true option, because you're not leaving anyone out. Like, if tall people really don't like this rise, but they love Aurora and they really wanted it in seamless, they now won't be able to get these because of that issue. And the same has gone for people who have been shorter torsoed and they've been asking for mid-rise. So I understand why we've got it, but I do think this is a better way, because there are some colours that have come before. So it's nice that we are adding options. And yeah, just because I prefer the mid-rise, it doesn't mean I'm going to turn around to alphalete and say, okay, we're just doing mid-rise from now on because it's what I like. No, we need options for everyone, and just because I like something, it doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. So we definitely need to keep options in the mix going forwards. I genuinely do actually prefer this rise on me. I feel like over the past year, I think my body has just changed, and for me now, when things sit that high on me, I just don't find it as flattering. I feel like my waist looks smaller when I wear mid-rise, and I never felt that way before. Guys, I used to have like a phobia of you guys being able to see my belly button. So if you're asking me which I prefer, I genuinely do prefer this rise. The fabric, it's like how Contour was before on crack, and honestly I do have quality concerns about how durable these are going to be, but also for a dark colour to be so sheer in Anchor, I'm genuinely a bit baffled. So it's hard for me because I love Contour shorts, but I think they needed a bit of extra length adding to them to compensate for the changes that have been made. I think it's a combination of fabric and the changes made to the glute area, and this is also not really my sort of colour palette either. I think if you have no issues with super thin, flimsy non-durable seamless fabrics and that's your jam, you will probably love these. I mean, I've said it since the start, Contour doesn't feel like a high quality legging. It just doesn't feel durable to me. It's never felt that way. That's my honest opinion. I do prefer the rise on me. I do really like this rise on me. Like I said, it's going to be mid to high depending on your torso. I think they're really flattering on the glutes from the back. Sorry, I feel like I've been negative there, but I can't fathom how we've got such a dark coloured legging that's so diabolically see-through. Final seamless item to run you guys through is the push tanks are coming back again. These have launched a couple times before. I think they've been in 2 launches prior. They're coming back in these colours. So there are no adjustments to the push tank. I don't know if it's going to be the same for the push tank. We've not been told yet. But with the push bra, which I'll go over, they said that they added 1/2 inch to the top, like for more coverage. When you add 1/2 inch to something could come in 1/2 inch lower, so just like normal, and it would still probably be intolerance for them. So my push bras and my push tanks are the exact same in terms of coverage. I just wanted to go over that first. I haven't personally noticed a change on mine. I've measured them. I've literally like gone through it with a fine tooth comb to find the 1/2 inch. Mine just don't have the 1/2 inch added, which I'm assuming it's just within tolerance if something comes in 1/2 inch off. So these are a seamless cami tank basically. I will run you guys through the details really quickly and then get into sizing and some changes which I have noticed with these. So fabric blend, it is the exact same as the other seamless items. So again, you have got your 51% polyamide, 38% polyester, 11% elastane. You would think the amount of times I say that it just rolls off the tongue by now, but I always panic that I'm going to say the wrong thing. So basically like the pump bottom, but in a tip version for your boobs. A meet and greet length sort of camisole seamless tank. I would say for most people it's going to be about meet and greet length. On me, it does meet the rise of the new mid-rise Contour if you've got a similar height to me, but as soon as I start moving around, there's like a good gap. So if you're on the taller side and you're interested in the mid-rise Contour as well, probably not going to be meet and greet for you with that, but with any high-rise waistband and for shorter people, it's going to hit you sort of meet and greet length. It's sort of just past belly button height, so it's basically a long crop essentially. In terms of the length, I'm pretty sure, let me just check, it's 9.75 inches from this midpoint of the chest to the bottom of the tank, and in a size up you get 10.25. so if you size it down it will be shorter, if you size it up it will be longer, but you have these thin spaghetti straps. It's a very low neckline and the straps sit sort of narrow, so if you have boobs you're going to get a lot of side boob with this tank. You can see it's almost like cut into it to have the side boob out. The straps sit quite like narrow in my experience over shoulder, and then it really scoops around here, so it is a very side booby and it's very low cut. And then you do have some sort of like contour rib detailing on the sides, and they've tried to like nip the waist in. Like, it does have a sort of flared shape to it almost, but it doesn't really do anything. It's definitely tightest around the bust, not around the waist region. It has this sort of like basically a hammock for your boobs in the actual tank, but then that is also built in to the actual shelf liner as well. You've got that same shaping on 2 layers, so it really does do a lot of like squeezing and pushing up, which is why it's probably called the push tank. It's a very good name for it. And if you were curious, the space that you get in that shelf liner is 5 inches. It's not a lot of room. If you have bigger boobs, I wouldn't recommend this top for you. How many times am I going to say this in this video? alphalete have definitely made something with smaller chests in mind, with implants in mind, or with moderate sized chests in mind. It doesn't have padding and there's no space for padding. I know a lot of girls would much prefer it with padding, so hopefully that's something that they can add. Tightest point of this is that bottom band. The bottom band on the push tank is incredibly snug in my opinion. In my original review of these, I was getting too in my head and seeing everyone saying like, it runs true to size, it runs true to size, you don't need to size up. But I felt like I really needed to size up in it. So I said I've sized up in it, but maybe you guys don't need to, because I was starting to panic. I was like, am I just bigger than like I think I am in my head? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I've got my sizing wrong, I don't know. Then a lot of you bought it from the birthday sale, and a lot of you messaged me being like, what the fuck, this is so tight, I definitely should have sized up. The bottom band in general on most people fits very, 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 very snug. So if you are between sizes, 100% size up. Do not size down in this top. And if you are someone who stores body fat in that region, or you have a bigger bust or wider lat, I would also recommend that you size up for comfortability purposes. At the back, it sort of scoops boops like this. A logo on this as well, which I don't love. It's a sticker logo, it's not tonal. I just don't like this logo on the women's pieces. I wish it just said alphalete, or to be honest, even plain, I feel like this is such like an everyday item. This could be like a zero branding piece in my opinion. Okay, so there's a couple differences I've noticed that I want to cover. My size small push tank is the exact same as my previous size small push tank in terms of measurements. There's no differences, but my new medium is bigger than my original medium. I don't know if that's an intentional change or what, but I just noticed even my medium before felt tight. My medium this time actually felt okay. The size small is still far too small. There's no change there, but the medium this time actually felt okay around the bust, but it's very loose around the waist because it does actually have more room in the waist and at the bottom as well. The main difference I've noticed is they've switched the straps. I'm gonna pop in some like clips and stuff so that you guys can see, because otherwise it's gonna be really hard to show you because you're not gonna be able to see. But the stitching is not the same. So the stitching that runs across the inside of the piping that goes all around the bust basically is not the same as it was before, and the straps are also not the same. One thing that they did change was just to make the adjusters tonal, so they're not gold anymore. They match whatever colour the top is, which is fine. The straps are so thin and so flimsy. The stitching is different. If you've got a previous push tank, you will know the straps were pretty plush. They weren't uncomfortably thick, but they were just plush. Like, I would never have said that the push tank felt bad quality or I had quality grimes. I think the fit's weird, but I never thought it had quality issues. These ones, the straps are incredibly thin and flimsy. They're more like the straps for the Amplify open back bra. These straps roll so much more and twist so much more than the old ones do, and especially because this fits so tight over bust, the sensation that I now get is I feel like I'm wearing a bandeau because it's so tight over my chest and under my chest, yet the straps feel like they're not supporting that level of compression, if that makes sense. They feel like they're just there, and even when I tighten them, it doesn't feel that much better. Like, it just feels off. The straps feel off, feel as high quality, being completely honest, and they roll and twist an awful lot more. The stitching is different and the straps just aren't as like high quality feeling basically. In terms of coverage, like I said, meet and greet length, and it's very booby, very side booby. I personally, in terms of sizing, I got this in a size small and a medium, like I mentioned before. I'll show you them side by side. I feel like I need a medium for my bust, but a small for the waist region. And even people that have smaller busts, I have seen complaining that the waist region is loose. So I feel like the fit on this is just off, and it always has been since it dropped. It's like a running theme with alphalete. Things are very tight over bust, very tight around the back, very tight around the arms, and then loose on the waist, which if anything, I feel like it should be a bit more comfortable over bust and then snatching where people want it. Like, I get the idea of it being a push-up effect. Yeah, sizing wise, I would definitely advise, if you've got one before and you were happy with the sizing, get that same size again. If you're between sizes, I would strongly recommend that you size up, not down. If you are someone who has a bigger bust, or you have a wider back, store fat in that region, or you have like a sensitivity to things being really tight around the chest, I would definitely size up. Like, for me, I prefer a medium for the chest. Like, I can't really wear the size small. It doesn't give me enough coverage. Medium gives me a little bit more coverage. The side boob isn't quite as bad. So many people have messaged me who went true to size, wishing that they sized up. So that is my sizing advice. The seamless fabric, so it does show sweat. Pilling, they can pill. I wouldn't say these feel as delicate as the contour shorts. They definitely don't feel quite as silky. So I wouldn't be as concerned with these as I am those. Definitely still low support. Even though it's tight over bust, because of the straps, it's definitely still giving very much low support on that front. It does like slip down quite a bit and does require quite a bit of readjusting in my experience. Overall thoughts, a lot of people love the push tank. If you loved it before, maybe the straps changing won't be enough to put you off. That's completely fine. Me personally, it just doesn't really work for me. The sizing isn't quite right. The straps are really disappointing on this one for me, because it just, especially because of my chest, I just feel so squished but unsupported at the same time. It's a really weird sensation, and I just don't find the cut of this flattering on me. I feel like the straps are way too narrow and there's a lot of side boob. Like, I just wish that the straps sit differently and there wasn't so much side boob out. For me personally, the push tank is a pass. Okay, final items that I have to show you guys for the new drop is the cross front waist tenacity is indeed coming back. She's coming back in your 5-inch inseam short, and I believe 27.5-inch inseam legging. I'm going to sort of talk about the two interchangeably because they are basically the exact same thing, just a legging version and a short version. Tenacity fabric, so you've got that 70% nylon, 30% spandex. Just checking, I was right, it rolled off the tongue. The fabric for Tenacity, like I've said, it's like a suede feeling fabric. It's very soft, but also silky at the same time, but a bit brushed. I will say, I feel like every Tenacity drop, like the Tenacity pieces that I'm going to show you in a second, every Tenacity drop feels different to me. These feel super stretchy, honestly, and thinner and so much stretchier and like way less compressive than other ones. And I can't quite understand it. So you have got a cross front waist detailing. It's not stitched together, so it does come apart. It's in a size small, 6.5 inches from here to like the midpoint of the cross, which by definition makes this lowest hitting option that alphalete do, other than the Tenacity low rise, which I'll get into in a second. If you go up a size, you do get a little bit of extra. You do get 7 inches. Make that differ, but based on a size small, it's 6.5 inches. Very short torso friendly. Honestly, it's really simple. You have some slight detailing on the waistband here. You have these two sort of panels, which then turn into a curve at the side, which is sort of like a hallmark of Aura and Tenacity fabric, that curve at the side, which I personally do find really flattering on the glutes. You then have a 5-inch inseam and then a hidden scrunch detailing at the back. It's not like a super deep V, but it is V-cut. You have a tonal logo, which you can barely see. And then all it does is when you put it on, it doesn't look like a scrunch, but because it has that ruched appearance and it's sort of like internally stitched a little bit different, it basically just helps it to go up the glutes and sit a little bit better. It's not going to go all the way up, but it just basically helps to give a little bit more shaping to the glutes. So if you are wanting a more subtle bottom that's still flattering on the glutes, but not an intense scrunch like contour or pump, the Tenacity has a very flattering glute region on the core and the cross waist, in my opinion. And the glute space on a size small is 4 inches, in case you are curious. On a medium, it's 4.5 inches. So you do get extra when you go up a size. Do find the Tenacity bottoms, when it's core or these ones, to be with that like 4-inch space. It's really flattering on my build and I do really like it. And then they're super, super, super comfortable. It doesn't have like a thick seam at the bottom, wide enough. And then the leggings, you've got the exact same details, the exact same measurements, the exact same everything. The only difference is we come all the way down and it's like a 27.5 inch inseam. I don't love a cross front waist on me, but I know a lot of people love it, which is why I don't think they should stop doing it. I just don't find it practical. When I bend over, when I crouch down, it does roll. The waistband does just roll. And I find it really, really, really frustrating. It's just not my preference. I don't always find it the most flattering or practical from the front on me, but from the back and the side, I do find these really glute flattering. It's just not my favorite. Like I mentioned, these feel thinner and stretchier than other Tenacity pieces, but also I do actually have a medium in the shorts, which I did prefer last time, are now 1 inch wider in the waist. I don't know if it's a fluke. The waistband is fitting wider on these now, and there is also a little bit more room in the hip as well, by about 0.5 inch to 0.75 inches. So they are fitting a little bit bigger than the last round of cross waist, in my opinion. If you got the tiny shorts, that's what this feels like in terms of compression. Nowhere near that high compression that you're used to with Tenacity, in my opinion. And also in terms of measurement. Yeah, before with the leggings, I could do small or medium. Now, definitely prefer a size small. With the shorts, before I did prefer a medium because I found that they rolled less and stayed in place a little bit better for me. Now, personally, I definitely prefer a size small because, as you can see in the medium white shorts, of excess fabric, the waist feels loose. I'm not getting any compression in them whatsoever, to be honest, which is sort of like the hallmark of Tenacity for me. So for me personally, I would advise that you stay true to size. I would still say if you're between sizes, you would probably want to go up and not down. If you were feeling like you're always a true size, but you have to size up in these before, I would definitely say you can stay true to size in these ones, because a medium for me, too big. Like, it's loose in the waist, I've got excess fabric, so I much prefer a size small. In terms of camel toe for these, I get a rootin' tootin' camel toe in these. I yank them up a bit more, which makes the camel toe situation worse. Yeah, the hoof is hoofing in these for me, so I do get a camel toe in them. In terms of sweat, like I mentioned, it does show sweat, and with the brights you need to be careful because the dye runs and then it doesn't really come out. Honestly, I would probably avoid the brights in Tenacity for that exact reason. In terms of squat proofness, obviously the white is completely see-through, but somehow it's actually not as bad as some of the contour, because Tenacity, I guess, is like slightly thicker than that seamless fabric, but it's still completely see-through. Don't get me wrong, like I would probably not get the white. In terms of anchor, it's so much better in Tenacity, and it is a really gorgeous colour, so I would highly recommend find it in the Tenacity range. This and the Lina bra is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful combination. And it's very close to the Aura anchor as well. It pretty much looks identical, to be honest. If you had that jacket, you can then get like a full look out of it. Tenacity will pill. It has that like Swedish sort of feel to it. I would say these feel more slick, like a little bit less brushed. Still is going to be pill prone, so avoid rough surfaces when you are wearing these. In terms of the shorts, they do roll. They roll significantly. They roll at the waistband, they roll at the bottom. These are very, 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 very comfortable. They don't dig in, but they do roll, so do be aware of that. Oh my god, guys, that's everything for this new upcoming drop. I'm going to end that here with my final notes on the wrap. If you like the wrap, then I love it for you, queen. It's not my personal preference. I just find it very impractical and annoying. But there is nothing wrong with the quality of these items. I would just say if you were having to size up before, I would say you can stay true to size now. If between, I would still err on the side of caution and go with a size up. If in core you were finding them way too tight, these are a much more comfortable option. Glute flattering without being in your face. Ashley, for example, just looks so good in these. It's just not my personal preference, but there's no wrong with them. Okay, moving on. Everything I'm about to go over is currently available already on the alphalete website. You don't need to wait. I'm not blue balling you here. You can literally go and get your pretty little paws on it right now if you wish to do so. But like I said, you could wait until Black Friday. Maybe not for Scarlet Pump because it seems to be selling really well. Yes, this was a mini drop that literally happened a couple of days ago. They dropped Scarlet and Black Pump. They dropped the Push Bra, which I will go over first, which is basically the bra version of the Push Tank, which I'll go over in a second, and Black and Scarlet Pump, both in the 5-inch inseam short and the legging with no logo on the hip. When they did the rebrand, my most asked question was, can we get rid of that hip logo from the pump? Because I want to try it, but I hate that logo. So now they are completely plain from the front, and they've just got alphalete on the back in the forever stitching, which I'm personally really happy with. Because Pump has such a different look and so many different features to alphalete's other seamless, I don't feel like the difference needs to come in branding. I feel like the features speak for themselves. Consistent branding is actually, in my opinion, quite a nice look. I don't think different products require different branding all the time. Honestly, it cheapened the look. And yeah, the logo also peeled off for a lot of people. So they did like a mini drop essentially. They've brought Scarlet back, but it's not the same as Scarlet before. I'm going to go over that first. Version of Scarlet is not the OG Scarlet, which I thought it would be. I think sometimes when they're coming up with names, because the design team hasn't been with the brand, they weren't there when Scarlet was made originally. They might not even be aware that there was another Scarlet. So I don't know if it was like they were trying to make the same colour but they missed. I think they genuinely just might not have even been aware. Scarlet was more of like a wine red colour. This is a bit of a chameleon colour. When you put it next to red, it looks pink. You put it next to pink, it looks red. It's like a raspberry red colour. That's the best way I can describe it. Definitely cool toned. It has like a bluey, pinky undertone to it. I do really like the colour. I think it's a lovely colour in its own right. It's just not the same as the Scarlet from before, so it wasn't what I was expecting. But regardless, I still really like the colour. So let's get into the Push Bra first. So it basically has the exact same details as a Push Tank I have just showed you guys. So it has obviously the super scooping neckline, very side booby at the side here. You've got adjustable strap with the new tonal adjusters, so they're not gold anymore. They match whatever colour you are buying. You then have this under bust shaping, just the exact same as you have on the Push Tank. The intention is your boobs sit in this like pocket bit. It's almost like the pump shorts but for your tits, to like push them up. And then you have this like quite sturdy bottom ribbed band, which is obviously much thicker than like the Amplify open back bra, for example. You've then just got the straps that come over shoulder. It's very scooped at the back. It comes quite low. This one just says alphalete, no A logo, which I do prefer. If I was to pick, I wish it was tonal. So yeah, super minimal branding on this. I do definitely prefer alphalete to the A. Yeah, it does come with padding. That's the main difference. Like I mentioned when I went over the Push Tank, this is meant to have 1/2 inch extra at the top to give people more coverage. Literally gone in with like a fine tooth comb. Mine didn't come in that way, but it could just be when you make 1/2 inch difference to something, it could come in normal how it was before changes, and it might still be within tolerance. So I think that's just what's happened. There is no difference. I don't get any extra coverage in this compared to the Push Tank, but I just want to make you aware that that should be a change, so you should notice that. I feel like from what I saw, yes, people were complaining that it was very booby, but the main complaints that I was getting from people were too tight. Like, it's so tight under bust, it's painful. And also just like the positioning of the straps, they sit really narrowly into the body, so you have a lot of side boob if you have chest. Even if you don't don't have boobs, your side boob is still out. Like when I see this on people with smaller chests, I do think it looks better on them than it looks on me, but the straps still look off, and that is the main feedback that I heard from people. So I wish those had been the changes made. It wasn't, so I guess that was the most important feedback, not issues with the sizing or where the straps are sitting. The other change to notice is these straps are flimsier than the push tank ones. The push tank ones are really thick. The push bra ones are much thinner and they're flimsier, which basically means they roll a lot more. They basically twist when they're on the shoulder, and it doesn't stay in place as well as the original push tanks did. So those are the main differences that I personally noted with this. So in terms of the support for this, low support, especially with the straps being flimsier than they were before. It feels like a very tight bust experience with no support from the straps. It feels almost like I'm wearing a bandeau for that reason. So it's definitely a low support bra, and the coverage is definitely on the low side. Not as tiny as some other bras, but it's very scoopy, very side booby. So if you're not into that, you would probably want to avoid it. I just don't find this cut flattering on me. It's a personal preference thing. I prefer straps that are more well proportioned. I look very top heavy from the front because so much of my side boob is out, and then from the back I feel like this sort of scoop on me doesn't flatter me either. I feel like it just makes my back look quite big. So I'm not a massive fan. In terms of the coverage, you get 5 inches here to here, so it literally is the exact same as that shelf liner on the push tank. So if that didn't fit you or your boobs didn't fit in it, don't bother with this because it's not going to work either. Generally, if the push tank didn't work for you, this won't work. If the push tank did work for you, this will work, because you also have to keep in mind you do have this compressive detail under bust. So even though yes, it's 5 inches here, you really only get about 3.75 inches of space for your boobs to sit in, which if you have boobs isn't that much. So it's definitely more suited to smaller chests and more moderate chests, and I do get a lot of digging in over bust as well. I find the sizing for this tiny, just like I did with the push tanks. I would definitely advise that you size up in this. I cannot do a size small in this. It's tight around my back, it's tight over my chest. The whole thing just doesn't fit me in a size small. In a medium though, I will say I do get like bunching of fabric and excess fabric, and it doesn't feel obviously as tight. It does feel like it's a bit too big. So I think for this, I'm probably slap bang in between sizes. I could not wear a size small. I can get away with the medium. It doesn't fit perfectly, but I can get away with it. In a size small, I cannot get away with it. If you've got a tiny chest and a really narrow back, stay true to size. But for anyone else, 100% size up in these, because in my opinion, these do run small. They're very tight. They're very compressive. The fabric on these is definitely on the stiffer side. It's not as soft as like the contour bras where, for example, it doesn't have that same level of stretch to it. But I would not advise anyone size down in this. In terms of staying in place, I actually find it does stay in place on the bottom really well, but it definitely does slip down quite a lot on the top. So I did find myself having to readjust it quite a bit. In terms of overall thoughts and recommendations, if you love the push tank, get this. You're gonna love it. For me personally, it's not a top pick. I don't think the sizing is quite right. Coverage aside, I mean, I don't love the cut of it because it's very side booby, but coverage aside, the sizing for this is just off for me. Small's way too small. Medium doesn't work perfectly either. So for me personally, it's a pass. But if you like the push tank and the push tank worked for you, you will love this. I would definitely say it's more suited to smaller chests and people who have way less body fat around like their midriff and underbust region, as seems to be the case for a lot of alphalete seamless bras. I'm coming to terms with the fact that alphalete seamless bras in general just haven't been working for me, and I've had a lot of feedback from you guys saying the same. They're just so tight, but then I can't go up a size because quite frankly that's just not my size, and then it's too big for me. For me, alphalete's cut and sew bras, their tenacity bras, their aura bras work a lot better for me than their seamless ones do, and it's just not the most flattering cut on me anyway. It's way too side booby. For me, she's a no. Okay, we then have obviously the legging and the short. The details are basically the exact same on both, just a legging version and a short version. So as opposed to contour pump, if you've never tried it before, it's stiffer. Like, it's way thicker. The fabric blend is the same, but it's a very different fabric. So on the front, you've got the 3-tier waistband, which is the same, but this one is more tapered and less stretchy than contour in my opinion, and it does also measure smaller. Pump is about 10 inches, and in my contour, I'm getting anywhere from like 10.5 to 11 inches in a size small, and it just feels thicker. Like, it's much denser and it is tighter. tighter. The rise for pump is 8 inches, but it's way less stretchy than contour. I would say this is a true mid to high rise, depending on your height. Shorter gonna be high rise. On me, it's a true mid rise. I really do like this rise on me. Obviously the front logo used to be on the hip, but it's now gone, so they're completely plain in the front. You've got that 0.75 inch band at the bottom, so not a thick band like contour, it's slightly thinner. You've got 5-inch inseam, and then when you come into the back, as you can see, you've basically got the booty cheek. So you've got the alphalete logo in the forever stitching at the back, and you then have this very different looking scrunch. You want this, by the way, in like depth of detail with drawings on all the different panels. Feel free to go and watch one of my previous, the first pump reviews that I did. I'm not going over it again. I can't do it in every single video because it would make every single video way longer than it even already is, which this is definitely going to be a long video. So if you want it like in depth, like I literally broke it down bit by bit, go and watch that video. I'm just going to run you through the details in this one. So yeah, you have this much wider scrunch. If you were curious, this space on a size small is usually about 3 inches, and it doesn't have the stretch that contour has. It has a slight little bit of give, but not much. Scrunch basically runs just under the butt cheek to give even more of like an internal lift inside of the butt cheek, but it can make the gusset sit a bit funny. And then you basically have this tighter fabric here. You can see it gives you pocket for the glute, and then you have this tighter fabric that rolls under here, and you do have a mesh panel down the side which runs sort of to the front rather than running to the back like it does on Amplify. In terms of like the different textures and stuff, the butt fabric is just like Amplify fabric. It's not as thin as contour, it's not as flimsy as contour, but it is on the thinner side. So this is how the butt cheek fabric is. It's just thinner because it needs to be to give you that give for your glutes, but the front is thicker, it's denser, so you will very rarely have sheerness issues from the front with pump. And the front has that sort of waffle like texture. I'll pop in like a nano picture. So that's the texture of the front. The glute space, it's like normal Amplify fabric. It's smooth, it's thinner, it doesn't have that same sort of waffle like texture to it. And then in terms of the leggings, it's literally the exact same details that I've just gone through, except for the fact that obviously that waffle texture is actually all the way down the leg. So the Amplify fabric is just on the butt cheek, basically that's what I'm calling it, and then the waffle texture is all the way down the leg. It's a much thicker legging than contour, way thicker than contour, like night and day difference. It fits tighter than contour, doesn't have as much give as contour, and yeah, you can sort of see here you have the butt pocket, and then this is like tighter basically. You then have like a tiny little baby transition panel just here. You've got smooth Amplify fabric but thicker. Then you have this like transitional panel here which basically goes a little bit looser, and then it goes into the leg, which is that waffle sort of texture which runs all the way around the front as well. So the compression level on these are way more compressive than contour. These are much tighter than the mid-rise contour, and the waist is tighter than the mid-rise contour. In terms of comparing it to old contour, if you had to size up in that, and I'm noticing this with a lot of people that I speak to regularly, the people that generally needed a medium in contour but are usually a size small in things generally need a medium in pump as well. So if you had to size up in old contour, I would recommend that you size up in these as well. Thicker, it's a much thicker legging, it's way denser. If you live in a hotter climate, you might not love the leggings because they are really thick, but it's much more durable. I've worn pump so much, and I can tell you now, it is so much more durable. Like none of them have pilled for me. None of them have pilled, none of them have snagged. The leg portion is much more durable, and the butt portion must be more durable as well, because I'm just not getting snagging or pilling with my pump at all. So if you're wanting something that's more heavy duty and more durable, pump is 100% going to be the bottom for you. And those are basically the details. The shorts are a 5-inch inseam. The leggings, I believe, are about 27-inch inseam, but with leggings you can always sort of stretch them up and down. The rise is the same on both, so you've got that 8-inch rise, which is sort of mid to high depending on your torso height. Compression level, like I said, I would put these down as high compression. They're compressive in the leg, they're compressive in the waist. They're definitely a bit more heavy duty in my opinion, especially when you put these on after you've had contour on. It feels like night and day difference. In terms of rolling with the shorts, they do roll. You do need to be aware of that because that fabric is so thick. Your booty cheeks are never going to be out, but they do roll. 5-inch inseam, but I would say they fit more like a sort of 4.5 on most most people. In terms of the scrunch, it's definitely not for everyone because it's that thicker scrunch. The more I wear it, honestly, the less I mind it. I still don't love it. I feel like, especially on colours like this, which I'll go on to in a second, if it's a colour that has a bit more give to it, it doesn't look as bad. It only really looks horrific, in my opinion, on the really non-stretchy colours. It does not look good on those colours. In terms of fit of this particular colourway, it's not as stretchy as espresso, like it's nowhere near as stretchy as espresso or skyline, but it's also not as like diabolically stiff as acai and emerald. I would say it's definitely on the snugger side, but it's not to the point where it's gonna like completely pancake your glutes like acai and emerald did in my experience. For me personally, for my sizing for this colorway, it's a little snugger, it's a little stiffer, but it's not as bad as acai and emerald. It's also not as pantyhose and stretchy like as espresso. It sort of basically sits in the middle on the snugger side. So therefore with sizing, if you've had pump where you feel like you really need to size up in it and you just generally you're feeling like pump sizing is a bit confusing for you, I would advise that you size up. For me personally with Scarlet, size small fits me fine. It's definitely on the snugger side and it's definitely a colour where I could do small when I want high compression or medium when I want something a bit more comfortable. A medium in this wouldn't be like a medium in espresso, for example, where it's just too big. If you are between sizes, I would 100% size up. But if you are someone who likes high compression, you can definitely stay true to size in this and you're not going to get the same pancaking that you do with acai. Like the butt pocket does have a decent amount of give to it. It's just a snugger, thicker feeling fabric, but not as bad as those colours. So in terms of squat proofness, this isn't 100% squat proof. It's fine for me. If you have glute tattoos, thigh tattoos, you will see them on the butt portion, so just be aware of that. Front of the legging is super thick and very opaque in my opinion. It's not transparent at all. But if you are someone who has glute tattoos, you will probably see them full stretch on the glute portion because it is thinner. And with pump having that thicker scrunch, you do have that saving grace that your asshole won't be hanging out because the scrunch is too thick to let that happen, essentially. You will just notice, because I did get asked about this last time, with Skyline, for example, because it's a stretchier colour, you can pull it up more, so it might sit a bit higher on you. With Scarlet, it is a stiffer colour, so you can't quite pull it up as much. So you might find that this sits a bit lower on you than other colours in like the stretchier colourways, for example. I would still say it's a true mid to high rise for most people, but with it being a bit stiffer, it might sit a bit lower on you than Skyline or White or Ultraviolet, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, other than that, no changes made. So the butt pocket space is still the same. So I do get like that sort of cutting me up a little bit issue that I do get with the pump shorts. It's worse on the shorts than it is the leggings, but I find the shorts more flattering than the leggings in general. I'm so happy that they dropped Scarlet early because I don't know what I would have done. I was feeling so uninspired with my gym fits because even this upcoming contour drop, this is not fall. This is giving height of summer. It's not even just like an injection of colour. It's neon highlighter green. I really desperately needed some fall colours, so I'm excited to have these. I really want like a rich, like dark purple in pump. I want some like more browns. I know it's so boring, but I really want some more browns in pump. I just want a really good fall colour palette. So I am glad that they did decide to do this as a mini drop because one, you're giving the people what they want with no logo, and it will be like that on all pump going forwards. We just desperately needed a fall colour, especially because I feel like they had two drops, this upcoming one with the contour and the last tenacity one back to back, and I know I'm going to get people messaging me about this contour drop being like, where are the fall colours? Got it with the tenacity drops. I'm so glad that they sandwiched this in the middle because otherwise I was going to be like, I don't know where the fall colours are, guys. Most people stay true to size for a high compression fit. It will be tight, but it's going to give you that lift. If you are in doubt and you don't want that like high compression, or you've got a softer stomach and you don't want to be pudged, I would definitely size up. And if you are between sizes, I would say 95% of you are going to want to size up, because if you go down, it's going to be really hard to situate the scrunch. It's going to be really, really, really tight, and it's going to be very unforgiving. If in doubt, just go for size up. And just as a mini update, I guess, I am enjoying pump a lot more the more that time goes on. When it first launched, I wasn't in love with it. I am starting to like it more and more and more. I do still wish that we just had a better colour palette for Revive, because I feel like that would be my most worn. But the more I wear it, the more I like it, and I do actually really recommend it. And in terms of quality, the quality on pump is nice. Like, it's really durable. It's probably the best in terms of durability that Alphalete have done in a while. This and Revive definitely has the more durable fabric for it. It will just boil down to, do you want glute compression? How you feel about the scrunch? I would say those are the main things that might put people off it, but I really do like this colour. Just be aware it's not the same as the original Scarlet that dropped before. Just be aware of that. We're probably like 2 hours in at this point, guys, but we're on to the home stretch. So now I'm going to run you guys through the Tenacity drop, which happened a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, this is the drop where I got my stuff in incredibly late. By the time I got mine in, I think most people had it for like a week and a half. I just didn't have enough time to get the review done, which is why I'm doing it now. I'm glad I'm doing it now because I feel like, I don't want to say my opinions would have been unfair, but I've definitely had chance to fall in love with one item in particular. So some people, it's going to be incredibly boring and incredibly basic, but for me, I feel like Alphalete excel when they get like a boring basic thing right. And sometimes they don't get the boring basic thing right, but this time they really have. So all this stuff I'm about to show you, just like the pump, already available on the website. So the first thing I'm going to run you guys through is the Corrina bra, which they dropped in an AB version and a CD version. So I'm giving you a visual here, AB version, CD version. You can see the differences here, which I'll go over a bit more in a second, but just to let you guys know, they actually ended up not dropping the Y. There was like an issue with like being able to see the pads. I don't quite understand it because you can see the pads in all of their light coloured bras, but I think it must have been really bad with the Y. I don't know because I take mine out straight away. I'm showing you the white. I only have AB version in a white, but it's not on the website because they ended up pulling it and not dropping it. So yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. This actually isn't available, but all the other colours are. Corrina bra is a very basic bra. She's basic as hell. It has this sort of like squoval neckline. Thought it was going to be like the Pulse Balance bra, but it's not quite the same. I will come on to that. So it has like almost like a squoval neckline. The straps sort of sit like a halter, so they're not straight over because then it comes into a racer at the back. And then you have this sort of curved detailing around the side of the bust here, which I find really, really, really flattering. There's no proper bottom band. It's just the same as all the Tenacity bras where it has this sort of like internal thin band almost. They all come with padding, which I obviously do take out, and it's obviously all double lined throughout. Tenacity fabric as normal, super soft. And then at the back you just have a racer back and very minimal branding. Like I said, I don't love the A logo, but on Tenacity, honestly, you couldn't pay me to care because you literally can't see it unless you are like this, which I always am, but no one else is going to be that close to me. So it's a very boring basic bra, but I feel like as much as I love how inventive Alphalete have been getting with designs, like they were beginning to lack in just a basic bra. I feel like the last good staple basic bra that they had was probably the Core bra, the Amplify contour bra. Those were like the last two, just no fuss-free bras. So I'm glad that they brought this out, and I'm also glad that with the AB to CD version, they didn't make the CD version high neck. Just because someone has boobs, it doesn't mean they don't want to show titties. You know, a lot of us are, you know, fellow skin showers, and we want something out. And yeah, it's nice to have the higher coverage, more modest options. Every time Alphalete does BTC bra, I'm using that term very lightly, always high neck. So I was really happy to see that they didn't make it into a totally different bra. The differences that they made are essentially, it gives you more coverage, obviously. So on the AB version, and I'll pop in some side by side so that you guys can see, you essentially have 3.5 inches in the center. On the CD, this is based off a size small, 4.25 inches, so more coverage. In terms of the coverage over the boob, it's 5 inches like bottom to the top of the strap on a B cup. On the CD, 5.5 inches, so you get about an inch, half an inch extra coverage pretty much everywhere. And then also the AB version has a wider cut chest, so this point to this point is 8.5 inches on the AB, and on the CD version it's 8 inches, so it's not quite as wide, but it gives you a bit more coverage here as well. I think it's a really nicely done difference. The only difference that I do wish had been made with the CD version would have been to put some form of better banding at the bottom, because the beauty of me doing this video now is I do have some women who bought the Corrina bra and they actually found that they were falling out of the bottom of it because it's so comfortable and there is no proper bottom band in it. So I do think that could have been improved, especially because they were harping on about this this as though it was like finally a BTC bra, but BTC for who? It doesn't just mean implants, it does mean like natural boobs, which they sit differently. Like it's not the same as someone with implants. So even though I am more of a member of the BTC, I wouldn't put myself forward as someone to be testing bras for it because I don't have natural boobs. They're not going to work the same. So I think they really do need to make sure they're actually testing things on naturally big boobs, not just someone with implants, because it makes a huge difference. And in terms of which I prefer, I can actually use either of these. So I can use the AB version or I can use the CD version. I actually like both. In the AB version, I'm definitely pushing it a little bit with the coverage at the bottom, but it still works for me. The CD version definitely feels like more of a safe option, but the sizing is the same between the two, just a difference in coverage. So if you've got a similar chest to me, like you've got implants or you've got a moderate size chest, but you prefer the more minimal look, you can actually probably still rock the AB version, but it's nice to have both. So I like both. It just depends how I'm feeling on the day, which I'm gonna wear. So in terms of sizing for this, I only have small versus medium in the CD version. So I'm gonna pop those in side by side here. Definitely stay true to size with this bra. And if you are between sizes, size down in it. Do not size up if you are between sizes. The medium on me in this bra is so big, like it definitely fits like a true medium. Like I said, I feel like alphalete bras have a habit of running small, very much true to size. If between, I would probably go over size down. The support on this bra is definitely low because even though it has like the CD version, it's still a low support bra. Yes, it has a racer back, which gives you a little bit more support, I guess, but there's no supportive bottom band. So you're not gonna get that same level of support that you get with, for example, the Pulse bra. You're not getting that, and it's also not as tight as the Pulse bras, which brings me on to the Pulse Balance bra just to show you guys side by side. This one has less coverage, there's no bottom band, and it definitely doesn't fit as tight. So if you've been eyeing up this bra, wanting it to be like the Pulse Balance, you might not love it because you really like how supportive and tight that bra is. This is night and day difference. It's so much more comfortable. I much prefer it. You think that we have gaps where we need to bring that sort of Pulse bra range back, because those were actually, in hindsight, really decent in terms of support. A new fabric or even doing those styles in this fabric, I don't know. The Pulse bras can make a comeback because they were the best for the big titty committee out of all the bras that Alphalete has done. But yeah, it's definitely much more comfortable than the Balance bra. Not as supportive though, and it definitely has less coverage as well. I love this bra. I really like it. I don't care that it's boring. Get in before it take me to jail. I don't care. This bra is so comfortable. Alphalete bras generally, not the most comfortable things in the world. They're not very fuss free. This is such a good product, and this is what I mean when I say like when they do a basic and they do it right, it's so fucking good. I can wear this. I slept in the Corrina bra, okay? And I don't normally like sleeping in anything. That's how comfortable this is. This is such a comfortable bra. It's just beg the question. It's not really like the BTC bra we promised because it's not really giving much support. It's just giving a bit more coverage. This is so comfortable. There is no trap discomfort. It's incredibly comfortable. It's incredibly comfortable under bust because there's no tight bottom band. Like, this is Alphalete's most comfortable fuss-free bra that they currently have on offer, and for that reason it's one of my favorites. And it's also totally different. Like, sometimes I'll find myself being like, oh, do I want to wear the Lina or the Aura Strappy? They're on a similar vibe. This one is totally different, and this is my new, like, if I'm running errands or even going to the gym and I'm layering and I just want something comfortable underneath that I don't need to think about, this has become a top pick for me. I know it's boring, I know it's basic, I don't care. I love it. It's done well. There's no quality issues with it. I love this bra so much. I love the AB version. I love the CD version. It's one of my new favorite bras from Alphalete. Yes, it's boring. Yes, it's basic. No, I don't care. Just be aware, just because it's racer back, it doesn't mean it's supportive. It's definitely a low support bra. Weight training, errands, low impact only. It's one of the best bras that they put out in a while. And it's so nice to have a bra that I don't need to be self-conscious when I'm wearing. A lot of Alphalete bras, because all the bottoms are so tight, all the bras are so tight, I feel like a busted can of biscuits. And it sounds really dramatic to say it, but I genuinely feel like their bras have been giving me body image issues because they're so tight, and it just cuts into you. And there is nothing more unflattering than wearing something that's too small or squeezing yourself into something that's too small. But then when I've been going a size up, it's also not fitting right because then it's too big over bust or it's too big under bust or there's excess fabric. It's so nice to have a bra that I can just put on. I don't need to think about it. I'm not self-conscious about, oh God, it's really digging into me here. It's really giving me trap discomfort. I feel really uncomfortable. I feel really aware of my body. It's fuss free and I genuinely love it. Highly recommend adding this to your Black Friday list. This will be in my Black Friday top picks. I'm telling you now. Okay, I'm glad that we started off strong with the Corrina bra because I regret to inform you it's all downhill from here, guys. Moving on, we've then got the Vic bra. And again, I want to give the design team their 10s for trying to do something different. I appreciate trying to do something different. Didn't quite pan out for me. So this is the Vic bra, tenacity fabric again. Kind of similar to the Aura strappy in terms of the front, just in terms of like the sort of cut of it and that detailing. It has that curved underbust, the darts here, which I've already mentioned. I won't go over it again, but please stop putting darts on the bras. They don't line up and it drives me batshit crazy. Comes with padding, but this one does have more coverage than the Aura strappy. I'll pop in a picture here so that you guys can see. So on a size small, it has 3.75 inches center coverage. The Aura strappy has 3 inches. So it's about 0.75 inches. And at the sides in particular, it's about an inch more coverage. So it's definitely not as tiny as the Aura strappy bra was. It's got more of like an actual hem at the bottom of it, which the Aura strappy doesn't really have, and it's a bit sturdier. So I feel like for a lot of people, not me, but for a lot of people, this might stay in place better than the Aura strappy does because it's a bit more structured at the bottom. It does come with padding. I personally choose to take the padding out. And then this is how it looks at the back. So you have adjustable straps, which you can obviously adjust the length of, but then you also have the adjustability with this at the top here. So you can either wear it super open back like this, and this basically sits behind your neck, or you can shovel the straps down, cage sort of style bra, more like this, and then the strap sort of just sits straight over. But do be aware, if you are planning to wear it like that, the straps then twist and fall off the shoulder a lot more. So the straps stay in place a lot better when you wear it pushed up to the top, but there is a level of adjustability to it, bounce and stretch on these, because I know that sometimes when you see this, if you're anything like me, you think, brilliant, I'm gonna look like a fucking pork joint. Not necessarily. It does have a lot of bounce and a lot of stretch to it, which is needed when you're putting such spaghetti straps on things. In terms of branding, you've got a little A logo on the sort of front there, but again, when it's on body, it's sort of hidden at the side, and that is pretty much it, guys. In terms of coverage for this, like I said, it's more than the Aura strappy, but it's still a small bra, okay? Like, it's still a very much minimal bra. It's just a bit more coverage. It sits a bit higher up, and I find in general just sits higher. And I find that with this bra, I get hiking. Like when I move around, it does budge up a lot. And I know that I saw Michaela, for example, she's naturally a double D or a D, I want to say. She literally went like this on a story and her tits fell out of the bottom of it. So it's definitely, even though it has that seam, if you have boobs, your boobs will fall out of the bottom of this bra. So it's definitely for flat chests and very, 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 very small chests. If you have boobs, I don't think this is the bra for you. Although I do have a lovely Discord girlie called Janae. She bought this bra and she's got the boobies of dreams. She's got huge boobs, and this bra actually worked better for her than the Corrina. So maybe it depends on build, but in general, I have not heard good things about the Vic bra for natural bigger busts. It seems like a lot of people are falling out of the bottom of it, and I do get it because I feel like it pulls up. And in terms of support, it's a low support bra. This doesn't give you any support whatsoever. In terms of this bra, for me, it's a sensory nightmare in a bra. The thing that goes around the back of the neck, I'm so aware of it. Like, I'm so aware of it. I feel like I want to crawl out of my skin. I don't know what it is. It just feels really, I think probably because I have prominent traps, it just feels weird to have something sitting there across here. It just feels really restrictive and uncomfortable. With where the adjusters sit, it sort of sits right here in the armpit where I store more body fat. So it sort of digs in and it's uncomfortable, and it's just sort of rolling around in my armpit. But if I try to pull the straps down, I then look like a pork joint. So that really doesn't work for me either. And then the straps roll. So for me, this bra is just a sensory nightmare. Another thing that I really don't like about this bra is these bits here are super thick. On the Aura strappy, this bit is very streamlined. This is just something that I can't stand in a bra or a top. This giant like knob of fabric here, I can't stand it. I like to layer things, and when you layer a thin top like I do over these, you end up with just these two bobbles here, and it just looks weird. The core bra didn't have it, the Aura strappy doesn't have it, so I don't really understand why this one needed to have it. It just feels rushed in my opinion, and it just cheapens the look of the bra. It doesn't look as clean in my opinion. And Another reason why I don't like this bra at all is because it draws your eye line into the back of your back in the shape of like this way. I store a lot of fat in my back, okay? And I also think I have postural issues. I feel like my shoulders, because of my implants, are somewhat rolled forward. I do not want a bra that is drawing someone's eye line to the widest point of my back. It just makes me feel like a linebacker. It feels so criminally unflattering on my build. I much prefer a racer back or something that crosses, something that draws the eye line into the center rather than the widest point. It's just not flattering on me, and I do get cutting into like my armpit fat because of it. This sort of shape to the back of a bra was never going to work for me. It works for some people and I'm happy for those people. It doesn't work for me. It feels really unflattering and it makes me honestly really self-conscious. If I stand perfectly posed, my back looks incredible, but the minute that I relax, I just feel like this bra makes me look bigger than I am. Brings me on to sizing. I got this in a small and a medium because typically that will be my sizing for alphalete. Definitely a size small for me. The medium in the Vic bra is huge on me, like it's way too big, and I've even seen people go in entire sizes down in the Vic bra. So I think if you've got a small chest, you might actually want to size down in the Vic bra, but if you have like a moderate to bigger chest, I would definitely say if you're interested in this bra to stay true to size. I wouldn't go up just because you're going to get a lot of excess fabric. Like the difference between the small and the medium is quite stark with this one in my opinion. If you are between, I would probably size down in this bra as well. It just seems like it's running quite, not big, but it just seems to be fitting people very, 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 very strangely. For me personally, it's just a miss. I don't like the design. It's a sensory nightmare for me and it's not very flattering on me either. I don't like how the finishings have been done with like the bulk at the front. It's just doesn't feel clean to me. So for me personally, the Vic bra is a pass. Let's get into something that everyone was talking about, which is the tiny short, because they really are tiny shorts. This is in the Tenacity fabric, and like I said about the wrap ones, these fit very different in my opinion to any other Tenacity bottom. Even the ones I'm about to show you, these fit different to Core and they fit different to Elevate. These fit more like Aura, if I'm going to be completely honest. So to get into the details really quickly, alphalete are saying low rise. I would say low to mid depending on how you are built. Based on a size small, the rise is 6.5 inches. You like where the smallest point of the Tenacity wrap hits you. Think that, but pretty much not all the way around, but most of the way around the front of your stomach. It's going to hit you there consistently right the way around. You go a size up, you do get more. In a medium, it's 7 inches front rise. And it does have the typical Tenacity detail where it's almost a bit more dipped in the front. So this is all 6.5, but then it does dip up to more of like probably about 7 inches around the sides. Different details on this one. So instead of having the curved seam detailing, it just sort of steps off at the front and comes into like a diagonally sort of straight line. And you also don't have the dipped waistband on the tiny short. It's just a very thin straight across waistband. All the other Tenacity has like a V. You have a 5-inch inseam with a very, very, very stretchy, very giveable bottom seam there. And then around the back you have a tiny teeny little waistband, little A logo, tonal, and then a hidden scrunch, the same as the other Tenacity bottoms, which is 4.25 inches on a size small, so closest to how the Core scrunch was. If that worked for you, you will probably really like these as well. That's all based off a size small. Obviously when you go up a size, you do get a little bit more, so you get a bit more rise, a bit more scrunch space, like more like 4.5. So the rise on me, these are definitely low rise, but on shorter people I've seen them looking more like mid rise. So low to mid, and again remember what I said about dfyne impact, that's 7.25 inches, so it's actually a little bit lower than that. The waist also, because of where these are hitting, has been let out a lot. Elevate leggings are super high rise, I'm going to go on to, and even with the Core, those are between 9 and 10 inches for a size small, because it's going to hit you at the smallest point of your waist. Because these are going to hit you lower, they needed to account for that, because most people's shape does come out at the hips, so they can't put a 9-inch waistband when something is going to hit someone on the hip, because it's just not going to work. It's going to look ridiculous, so they needed to let that out a little bit. So that on these in a size small is 12 inches to accommodate for where they are planning for it to sit, and in a medium it's 13 inches. But obviously I understand that if you are shorter, these might run big on you because they might end up hitting you closer to your waist. So it's going to depend on your torso height quite a lot for that. They're also wider on the leg. So on the Elevate shorts, or like the Core shorts, those are about 7.5 inches on that leg opening. These ones are 8 inches, so they're also about half an inch wider. 5-inch inseam, but these roll so much. They honestly fit like hot pants, and because they're not tight on the leg, there's no grip to them whatsoever. whatsoever. So these roll basically to fit like knickers on me, like it looks like underwear. They are incredibly tiny. The clue is in the name, they are tiny shorts because it doesn't have that grip towards the thigh. Your glutes will sort of pull the fabric down and they do almost dip at the back. So when I'm squatting, I did notice that if I'm wearing certain underwear, because I am taller, it does poke out of the top of them. So I would probably recommend that you don't wear underwear with these, just being completely honest. I don't think it's really gonna work out because it will end up being unsure. With that being said, I do find these really flattering on the glutes, honestly. Like the dip at the back and where it hits me, they're very flattering on the glute, even though this one does have the seam that basically goes around the waist. Or usually on Tenacity digs into me quite a lot and it's not that flattering. On these, because they've been let out so much and it's hitting me lower, I don't find that it's really digging into me at all. It's actually much more flattering in terms of how it fits because that seam isn't actually cutting into me on these. In terms of sizing, I picked these up in a small and a medium. Definitely don't need a medium in these. The medium just has excess fabric and it's really loose on the waist. Like I can fit my fingers down the back of the waist on the medium. I would definitely say to stay true to size with these. They fit much more comfortable and way less compressive than other Tenacity pieces. Really reminds me of the new wrap that's coming out. These are not compressive at all. It feels more like Aura. This feels more like an Aura short to me than it does Tenacity. It doesn't feel anywhere near as compressive, so you can definitely stay true to size. And if between sizes, I would probably size down. Just be aware they are incredibly short. Even though it's a 5-inch inseam, it fits so much shorter once it's on body and it rolls way more than the other Tenacity shorts that they've done. Really reminds me of how much the Aura short rolls. In terms of sweat, like I've said, Tenacity does show sweat and you do need to be aware that in certain colours the dyes can run. But it will show sweat in terms of pilling. Yes, these are very soft, very silky, very stretchy, very suede-y. So it definitely is going to be prone to pilling, so you need to be mindful with that. And in terms of camel toe as well, I definitely do get camel toe with these. In terms of squat proofness, Tenacity is a bit of a denser fabric, so for me these are both actually okay. Skyline I would still be wary of. If you have glute or thigh tattoos, you're probably still going to see them. If you wear nude underwear, you will be completely fine in the court green and also the Skyline. I am fine in both of them. It definitely fares better than seamless does. Whilst I am really happy that Alphalete introduced like a lower rise and honestly like a true mid-rise, I guess, for people who have much shorter torsos, I do think it would have been nicer to have given people an option that's not just a tiny short. I think making these into a legging or even a biker would have given people that have been asking for a much lower rise, like a significantly lower one, more opportunity at buy-in, because these, I feel like you have to be very confident to wear these. They're very low and they're very short. Sure, there's plenty of people who love this rise and really want it, but matter of fact is if you have glutes, if you have like developed glutes, these are going to be too short for you. Like they roll up and they can roll up to expose your butt cheeks. Like that's how, not loose, but like they're just not tight enough to stay secure in one spot. In terms of would I recommend it, there's nothing wrong with the quality, and if you want like a really cunty tiny short, I think you will probably really like these. Will I be using them? No, hell no. I'm not training with that much of my stomach out. I'll use them for Pilates classes, hot yoga classes, that sort of stuff, but in terms of weight training, I'm not confident with this much of my stomach out, so I won't be using them for that. And if you love the density and compression of Tenacity, you just don't get that with these. They feel and fit more like Aura. Tenacity is meant to be their higher compression, so the fact that we've now got the wrap coming up, which feels not loose, but it feels much looser than previous Tenacity, and then the tiny shorts, like even the ones I'm about to show you, don't fit like this. So for me personally, these are a pass, but if you are wanting something, especially for yoga, I feel like they'd be really nice for. Probably really like them, but for me personally, it's a pass. They did give us two rise options in this drop. So we had the extremity of the low to mid, the ultra high. I guess if you're really tall, it might be high, but on most people, even me, this is ultra high. So high to ultra high for your everyday elevate short and legging. So they dropped a short in a 5-inch inseam and a legging in, I believe, 27.5-inch inseam, based basically off the core range, but with tweaks made. So I will compare them in a second, but just to run you guys through the details, you have this sort of dipped detail waistband here. You then have that same seam. It doesn't go around the front here. This is just a double lined waistband, but you have this seam that runs basically from where these darts are all the way around the back, and it does dig in on these pieces. On the tiny short, it doesn't, because the waist is being let out that much, but on these, it definitely does dig in. And then they are super plain on the front. The shorts are a 5-inch inseam, the leggings are a 27.5-inch inseam. You then have this curved
seam detailing at the side, which the tiny short doesn't have. More of a straight seam. Again, I just wish there was a bit more consistency to details, because what are we doing? And then coming into the back, you can see you have a really tall waistband. The A isn't even in the center because it's that tall. I feel like this needs moving down a bit. Can you see what I mean? Like, to me, this just looks like it's sitting too high. Tiny little A-tonal logo, sort of like a V-seam. It's not super extreme, but a bit of a V-seam. The hidden scrunch detailing here, which is the same across all the tenacity bottoms, but it does differ in length. So the main thing that I want to go over with these is comparing the short to the old short. So the core short, the main difference, well, there's a lot of differences, but the shorts were actually a 4-inch inseam last time. Now they are 5 inches, so they are longer. So the original core line, leggings and shorts, they had an 8.25-inch rise, and those were more mid to high. These ones have a 9.5-inch rise, which is more than Aura even, I believe. Definitely a high to ultra high rise in comparison. The waistband is also different. These are actually more nipped in on the waistband than the core was. These are 9 inches, the old ones are 10 inches. They did, however, add some more fabric to the hip. Core leggings, they were 14 inches across the hips. Elevate, they've added about just under an extra inch. They're now 14.75 inches. And the glute space on the core was like 4 to 4.25 inches. On the new Elevate, it's 5 inches. So you've got more space in the glutes as well. So with that being said, these are definitely made for my long torso girls. If you are someone who tried the core and you hated it because it was just too low on you, you felt really unconfident in it, it felt weird, the sizing felt weird, then you will probably much prefer these. But I do find the sizing changes confusing. I'm just going to go over that now whilst I'm sort of talking about it. I got small and medium again just to test, because I've tried small and medium in the core. These ones are tighter in the waist. I think it's because of where they are hitting me. They're just hitting me ultra high. They're not hitting me at the smallest point of my body. They're actually hitting me not at the widest point, but they don't hit me at my waist. They hit me above that point. So these are smaller in the waist and hitting me higher, which is just creating a really unflattering bulge. Like, when I sit down in a size small in these leggings, I am so uncomfortable. But then the hip has had fabric added to it. And I feel like a lot of people, yes, complained about the leg, and they've let out the calf region as well. I know people complained about that. There was also a lot of people complained about the waist and that seam digging in, which they've kept, and now they've made it tighter. They've traded one issue for another and almost made one issue worse. Like, the seam bothered me before on core. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but on these it's so much more notable that it's cutting into my rib cage fat, because this is where they hit me. Like, they hit me around the rib cage. They're super high on me. So in terms of the difference between a small and medium, for me, the medium now is way too big, especially in the leggings. Like, it's just, I have so much excess fabric. The waistband is rolling down. It does it in the size small, but it rolls down even more in the medium. For the shorts, I feel like I can do small or medium. I feel like the shorts don't fit as big as the leggings do. The measurements look really similar, but the shorts, somehow I can still do small or medium. The leggings, the medium just has so much excess fabric. And I do appreciate that they've tried to make these more true to size, like they're meant to be more true to size than the core. But in my opinion, I feel like the sizing is now actually even more awkward than it was before, because if you were between sizes before, you probably still need to gonna go with that size up for the waist, otherwise it's gonna cut into you really bad. But now you're probably gonna get excess fabric everywhere else that you didn't get before, if that makes sense. I feel like the sizing for core, whilst it was confusing, it almost made more sense, because it was just like, stay true to size for a highly compressive fit. If between, go up. If you don't want compression, go up. Now the sizing feels even more confusing to me, because the waist is tighter, but the leg is bigger, but people were still having issues with the waist with the core. Like, I can't wrap my head around the sizing for this now. I find it really confusing. Tenacity is meant to be a higher compression option, and whilst I understand if there's a glaring issue with sizing and the sizing is completely wrong, they need to change that. But I feel like, especially between the wrap and then the tiny short and now these, we are definitely approaching making tenacity more into like aura, which doesn't make sense to me, because aura is aura. We don't need tenacity to turn into aura. I found the sizing of the core easier, and I prefer the core leggings. These are not meant to be a replacement for the core leggings. They're meant to be an additional option. I don't know when the core leggings are coming back. I don't think they sold that well. I love the core leggings so much. Please go and buy the core leggings so that we can have more of them. Now, just because I prefer the core leggings, it doesn't mean that these ones shouldn't exist. The reason I prefer the core is just I prefer the rise. The waist fits me better. The leg fits me better. The glute space is more flattering. Like, this is definitely more for someone with longer glutes. Yeah, just like how tall the waistband is just makes me look really weird. I feel the same way about Aura a lot of the time, especially since they made the changes to basically reduce the glute space, but now the waistband is just really tall above it. I almost feel like that looks worse, and that's how I feel about these. I just don't love it. I would say in terms of like the fabric density, these feel much more tenacity like than the tiny short and the wrap do. Definitely still has that density to the fabric, just changed the measurements, so they've let things out a little bit. In terms of camel toe, I do get a camel toe with these. In terms of the shorts rolling, they do roll. They don't roll as bad as the tiny short. They are tighter on the leg than the tiny short, but they do definitely still roll. I do also find because of how high these sit on me, and I've noticed on everyone else too, the waistband rolls down as well, so that doesn't stay in place either. There's just like a lot of weird fit issues with these on most people that I've seen them on. Obviously tenacity is a much denser fabric, so all of these I would comfortably wear commando or with nude underwear. Obviously you will need to be aware with pink and with Grove that if you do have a thigh tattoo, you might be able to see it a little bit, but it won't be like it is with contour. So if that's the case, but you really like the colours, tenacity will work better for you. But yeah, these just confuse me because now they're really tight at the top of the waistband. That seam is now really bothering. It bothered me before, but now it's really bothering me. Then the leg isn't as tight. Really glad that they've added another rise option for people who wanted a bit more coverage on the stomach and the core was maybe too low for them. But I wish that we had also had the core as an option within this drop. If we had those like rich dual tone fall colours in the core leggings, I think they would have sold a lot better. So I'm kind of sad that I feel like they got done so dirty with the 2 rounds of colour palettes that they got. I get it, it's an additional option, but because say for example you really want iris but you're short, you're not going to want this rise, so it doesn't come off as though it is an option, because if you wanted mid-rise you can't get it in this drop and you can't get it in these colours, if that makes sense. In terms of sizing, it's confusing to be honest, but I would say in general true to size, and if you're between sizes I would probably go over size up. But yeah, these are a pass for me. I much prefer the core range. The core legging is my favourite legging that alphalete have. I absolutely love the core legging. The black ones are such a staple for me. It doesn't bag out around the knee. These bag out around the knee now, like they just feel loose, and I don't love the rise of these either. I find the core much more flattering on my build. I'm sure if you are super tall you will love these. High to ultra high depending on how tall you are. For me these are ultra high and they're just too high, not flattering on the glutes for me. Like they make me, I feel like Gru from Despicable Me in these because of how high they are. They just make me feel so, I don't love these leggings at all. Don't like the shorts either. I hope you can see why now. I feel like if I'd have just done the tenacity drop alone it would have been a very depressing video because this bitch like anything. It would have been nice to have had something middle ground in that drop, because I appreciate we had the low rise and the ultra high, but those are like the 2 extreme ends of the scale, so I feel like having something in the middle would have been a good idea. Okay, moving on, we then have another bodysuit. Alphalete are loving a bodysuit, and to be honest I love a bodysuit as well. I really want to start seeing more long ones though. Yeah, I need like some long bodysuits from Alphalete. I feel like I wear long bodysuits more than I do short ones, but if you're in a hotter climate, hey, pop off. So it's still in the tenacity fabric, and this is the Starr bodysuit. Olivia bra was made into a bodysuit, so it's got this like square sort of neckline like the Olivia bra has, 6 straps that come over the shoulder like so. It does come with padding, and this one also comes with a full-blown actual shelf liner. So with previous bodysuits it's basically just been like sewing, like there's not been like a physical actual like separate shelf liner. It only runs to the side because then it's backless here, and it does come with padding. Obviously I've taken the padding out, but then you have this sort of open keyhole at the back here. Not really like a dipped back, it's more like a circle rather than being pointy. Another hidden scrunch detail here on the longer side for the tenacity pieces. Mine in a size small is 6 inches on this, so it's definitely much bigger in terms of the glute region, and it does have a V sort of seam detailing, 5-inch inseam, and then basically the top portion where the bra is double lined obviously, and then the front here is actually single lined. You've got these 2 darts here, and then like almost like a corset sort of style detail here. You've got these 2 little seams, and then it comes into a little bit of a V, and then it comes into the short. So it's sort of like a corset look detail, and I do really like actually that the midsection on this single lined. So to compare this to the Lina bodysuit, this one actually comes up higher, center of the chest to the crotch on the Lina bodysuit. Let me just make sure I give you the right measurements here guys. On On the lina, it's 16 inches. On the starr, it's 17 inches. So it does actually come a bit higher. It's not quite as low cut. However, the main differences between this and the lina is the chest isn't as wide. It's about an inch less wide. That was 15 inches. This one is 13.5 inches. So this one is much more true to size in terms of the chest, and it's a lot more supportive as a result of that, especially with the proper shelf liner. I do feel a lot more held in this in the chest region. And then it's meant to be more shaped in the midsection than the lina, and they're actually the exact same in terms of measurements. This just confirms my hypothesis that double lining makes things fit fucking weird. Midsection on the lina just didn't feel like it really sculpted you properly because it was too thick in my opinion. This one measures the same, but because it's single lined, it's able to sculpt to you better. I genuinely believe single lined fabrics around the midsection work better for showing off your actual shape. Double lined just adds width and never sits close to body enough. So they do actually measure the exact same if you were curious, but this one is thinner, and also this fabric feels stretchier as well. Inseam on these is 5 inches, but it does roll. It rolls just as much as the lina bodysuit does. When you're squatting and stuff, your underwear isn't going to come out. It's not too low cut at the back. The Y is completely see-through. Like the bra is fine, obviously, because it's so layered up, but the midsection, the glutes, the crotch region, everything is completely see-through. So I would definitely get it in a different color if you are interested in it. In terms of torso length, this is fine for me. I think if you have a longer torso than me, it could get a bit strangly. I'm definitely on the upper end of comfortability for this. Like I think if I was any taller in the torso, it would be strangling my vagina. I do like this detail here, but I don't love the back of this on me just because, as I've said in this video, I've come to the conclusion when straps are thick and they just go straight over, it's not flattering on my build. It makes me look really broad and I just don't find it flattering on me at all. So for that reason, even though this fits better on the midsection than the lina, I actually prefer the lina bodysuit to this one, which is a very unpopular opinion. Most people preferred this one, but I just feel like the lina is more flattering on me from the back, which the lina midsection had been single lined. And I just think as well, alphalete have done so many short bodysuits now. One of them could have been biker length. I think it would have been nice for them to have given us this one in a biker length for people that just want something a bit longer. 3 or 4 bodysuits now and they've all been 5-inch inseam or less. I'm really excited to see them do a biker option for a one piece and also a longer option. Quality of it is honestly nice. Like it's fine. It's just not my cup of tea and it's definitely not something I'm going to be wearing. In terms of sizing, I got this in a size small. I would definitely say to stay true to size, and if between sizes, I would probably actually size down in it. Feel like tenacity in terms of compression. So if you go up, you might get a lot of excess fabric, but generally I would say to stay true to size. Another non-favorite for me. Okay, final 2 things. We've got some tenacity lite pieces. So the tenacity lite fabric, just to go over this really quickly, is not the same as the tenacity fabric. The tenacity fabric is 70 nylon, 30 spandex. The tenacity lite fabric, 75 polyamide, 25% spandex. Also made somewhere different. The tenacity piece is also made in China. The tenacity lite piece is say made in Cambodia, so it's also made somewhere different. But the main difference between these fabrics is tenacity is soft, it's brushed. As much as it's compressive, yes, it does have give to it. The tenacity lite fabric is much less brushed. It's more of like a, honestly, it feels like if you chewed it, it would squeak. That's how it feels. It has like a, can you guys hear that? It's like a bit squeaky. This fabric, it's not very brushed and it's very tight. It doesn't have much give to it. Tenacity is tight, but tenacity lite, in my opinion, doesn't even mold. Like tenacity will mold to you eventually. This one doesn't, and it doesn't really have much give. This is probably more performance leaning than actual tenacity fabric, but just to give you guys the rundown, because I don't want to have to go over it twice, I do not like this fabric. What nails on a chalkboard is to some people, this fabric is to me. Fit issues with every single tenacity lite piece that I've had, so for that reason I don't like it. But if you aren't really bothered about things being body fit and you want something that's like tight over chest and loose everywhere else, you might like the tenacity pieces, tenacity lite pieces even. In terms of sweat, it is definitely more sweat wicking than tenacity in my opinion, but it does still show sweat, so do be aware of that. And in terms of pilling, because it's not as brushed, it's not as pill prone, so you are safer on that front as well. Thinner than normal tenacity. So we have got the tenacity racer tank. This has dropped before. I have already done like the comparisons to glass tank. Go and watch my contour review that had like the bloom and the rose and the canary yellow. That's when I reviewed this originally, but it's basically a racer tank. It has no shelf liner, like there's no bra built in, but it is double lined in the middle of these side seams. So anything outside of those seams is single lined, but the whole of the front is double lined, and it is quite sturdy feeling. Like this fabric just doesn't have much give to it. So it does, even though it doesn't have a bra built in, it does actually support you a decent amount. In terms of bras to wear under it, obviously I've shown you in the try on clip, I wore the Corrina bra. It actually fits quite nicely under it. The only place it shows is at the back on the racer, just because this is quite thin. I like the aura strappy. You can kind of get away with not wearing a bra. It's just not going to give you an insane amount of support because it's not a shelf bra or like a proper built-in one. So it has this sort of waist contouring details here, and then at the back it literally just comes into a racer back. It's super plain. In terms of branding, it's just on the front of the hip there, tiny little A. You really can't see it. Tiny. And it does dip a little bit at the front in terms of the cut of it. Dips a bit at the front, and then at the back it's straight across and it's a little bit shorter. People will tout this as a full length top. It's going to be full length if you're short. If you are like me, this is not a full length top in my opinion. I feel like for top to be its peak flattering length for me, it needs to cover the glute shelf a tiny little bit. When a top covers the top of your ass, I don't know what magic is in it. It creates a shelf that only a bakery could give you. Like only years in the gym could give you. It gives you such a shelf appearance, and it's so flattering in a way that this just isn't. I feel like because of where this hits me, it's almost like an inch above where my glutes start. Unflattering, because I then just have this awkward gap before my glutes start. So I don't love the length of this. It does cover the belly button, it does reach about hip height, but I would say it's like hip full length, like a high hip full length, not a true full length. If you're shorter, it'll probably be a true full length on you, but I just want like a couple extra inches. Come on, alphalete, I'm just asking for a couple extra inches. What's the girl got to do for a couple extra inches around here? So to me, it's not full length. When I got this originally, I got it in an extra small. Big mistake. Don't size down in these because they have no give whatsoever. These are incredibly tight over bust, not loose on the waist, but the fabric, because of what I've said and the nature of this fabric, it's tight, but it doesn't mold to you, and it doesn't have bounce back. It just wrinkles. So it's very tight over bust, and then it just feels meh. If you go a size down like I did, it was genuinely so uncomfortable. Like I absolutely hated it. Could not do the size down. So I got a size small this time, and I still don't love it, honestly. Like in my true to size, it's tight over bust, it's a bit loose around the waist. It's just not fitting me how I want it to fit. In terms of a tank from alphalete, I would choose the glass tank over this any day of the week. The fit of it is just so much more cohesive and coherent, and I don't care that I have to wear a bra with it. I would rather that than this personally. It's just not my favorite thing in the world. I really don't like how tenacity light pieces fit, and I also really just feel like the stitching on these tanks, I felt the same last time. I don't know if you guys can see, but the stitching on it just feels rushed, not good quality at all. It feels scratchy almost, and it has like no give to it whatsoever. Like, oh, it sounds like a didgeridoo. So for me personally, for all those reasons, this tank is a pass for me. If you're still interested in it, stay true to size, and if you're between sizes, size up. Please do not size down in this. It's going to be so uncomfortable. It has like no give to it whatsoever. I just feel like for tanks like this, you need something where it's got more stretch to it, go down a size and then get it to sculpt you. This just doesn't fit right for me. But if you are into the sort of like tighter up top, more room around the stomach, you might really like these, and I would recommend true to size if between size up. In terms of sweat, like I said, it is a more sweat wicking fabric, but it does still show sweat. I would choose the glass tank over this any day of the week. I don't really like these tanks at all. Okay, final thing. I feel like this jacket caused, every time they do a jacket, it causes so much controversy. I did question how we ended up with a cropped hooded jacket before we ended up with a full length jacket. I know I've been asking for full length, guys. That stuff is being worked on, but I've been asking for 3 years. Release me from the shackles of high hip tops. Release me from the shackles of full length tops that are not quite full length. They're just a really awkward length. It's been like 3 years of asking now. I feel like how I feel about not having full length tops is probably how people feel about rises. We all need to stick together on these issues, honestly. Anyway, they dropped a lightweight hoodie, basically. When I say hoodie lightly. It's not like sweat fabric, it's tenacity light fabric, which obviously we've just gone over. Basically, this sort of like long crop, it's sort of like a meet and greet sort of length jacket. It has a full zip, it has a hood, although the hood is very questionable about its use. I think it works for short people, but on me, I look like a little sperm in it. If I had white, it would probably be even worse. I look like a literal sperm. So tight. I feel like I belong in like a Harry Potter film set. So the hood isn't actually usable for me, but if you're shorter, it probably will be. Full zip, it has full length sleeves, there's no thumb holes, it's completely plain, it has a seam running down the back of it, and it's very like sort of flared at the waist. It does also have these pockets, but I'm not gonna lie. First of all, they sort of flare out from the jacket in a really weird way. They're just not sitting flat to the jacket. And also, if I show you, I don't know what we're putting in the pockets because my phone doesn't really fit in, and everything I've put in this pocket, because I did wear it the other day, just fell out. They're not safe. Like, I know that this has been like touted as like a running jacket. You wouldn't want to put anything in the pockets because they don't have zips. I feel like they should have had zips. And I also just feel like the finishings, it's giving not finished to me. Like the stitching looks really cheap. I feel like the pockets look like more of an afterthought, and like they just shoved pockets onto the jacket because they decided to add pockets rather than thinking about it. Like, it's literally like someone slapped a pocket on the jacket. So the controversy with this jacket is that it's not a fitted jacket. Now, in Alphalete's defense, they didn't want to make a fitted jacket for this. They did want it to be more of a comfortable fit, more of a loose fit. However, in my opinion, they still fell short of that because, again, in true Alphalete jacket fashion, the chest and upper arm region is so tight on this jacket that I feel like I'm bulging out of it. And Tenacity Light, like, it's claimed to be more comfortable, but it has less give than Tenacity, in my opinion. Like, it's really not a comfortable fabric, in my opinion. So it's really tight over chest and really tight on the arms. And then, yes, they did design it to be like loose and flared essentially at the waist. Like, you can see how it literally flares out here like so. So it was designed to be looser at the waist, but I think it's just a massive oversight because the sleeves at the end are loose, but then they go so tight up here that it's uncomfortable. It's so tight over bust, and then it's loose at the waist. It's not my fit preference, but that might be someone else's. But I still think the chest and arm region, especially around the shoulder and the bicep, it needed to be let out a bit because it's way too tight. Yeah, and then if you go up, it's obviously going to be even looser. I got this in a small and an extra small because the girls were saying obviously it's like not tight in the waist. If you want that, try and size down. Yeah, I don't know why I bothered. The extra small is so tight on my shoulders and my biceps and my chest, and it's still loose on the waist. So it made no difference. It just made the chest and arm situation 10 times worse for me. This is really not a comfortable piece of clothing to wear, and it just looks weird because it's so tight up all the arm, and then the wrist is just loose and the waist is loose. Like, I feel like this jacket should have just been bigger everywhere if that's what they wanted to create. It just doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not opposed to them doing a looser jacket. Not everything needs to be for me. Not everything needs to be for my preference. I am not the queen of Alphalete. I am not the CEO of the company. I am not the head of design. I am not any of the above. Not everything needs to work for me, nor can it. I'm not opposed to them making a looser fitting jacket. It's not my cup of tea, but it might be someone else's, or like a more modest girlie's. If that's the road that they're going down, then I feel like it needed to be looser everywhere, because now the fit just feels off, and it's not really to do with the waist. Chest and the arms is still too tight. Not my preference how loose it is at the waist, but I appreciate they weren't trying to make it tight at the waist. It's not like the shape jacket where it was meant to be tight and it's still not tight enough, or the aura where it's meant to be a BBL effect and it's still adding 3 inches to you because of how thick it is, and it's just not sculpting you at all. This is a different case, but the fit is still off. I would strongly advise that you don't size down in this, because if you size down, it's not going to be tight on the waist anyway. You're just going to create more uncomfortability, and it still won't be tight on the waist. Stay true to size. If you don't have like a big bust or bigger arms, you can definitely stay true to size. If you are between sizes, please go with a size up and save yourself the heartache. And if you want something that's going to be much more comfortable for you, if you've got a bigger bust, if you've got bigger arms, you store more fat there, you're more muscular, you have bigger shoulders, you're probably actually going to prefer this in a size up to get a truly comfortable fit everywhere. I would strongly recommend against sizing down, because it's not meant meant to be fitted at the waist. It won't be fitted at the waist in a size down. You're just going to create more fit issues for yourself. It's a lightweight jacket. It's much lighter than the Shape jacket. It's much lighter than the Aura jacket, so it's a lot more breathable. It's a lot more comfortable in that regard, but I just find the fit of this to be bizarre, and the design in general is not my thing. I don't love how the pockets look. It just looks like an afterthought, and if this was meant to be a true running jacket, the pockets should have been zip, in my opinion, and more secure, better done. Like, the pockets really do feel like they've just been slapped on. They look like a real afterthought on the jacket. This is not my thing at all. If it is your thing, it's okay. I'm not even going to say there's nothing wrong with the quality, because the finishings do feel quite poor on it for me, but this is not something that I would be rushing to pick up at full price or even on Black Friday, to be honest. I think there's better options. Okay guys, it's 3:30. We started this at 11 a.m, so I'm gonna call it a day because I've ran you through all the pieces. So from the pump drop onwards, that's all already on the website, and anything prior to that, that is all launching on October the 25th, 12 p.m. CST, 6 p.m. UK time. If there is anything I've not covered, you want sizing help to see if a certain colour goes with another colour, I don't know, whatever you want, if you've got any questions that I haven't answered in this video, or you need personal sizing help, message me on Instagram or comment them down below, and I will get back to you to help you out with that. Yeah, we've been yapping for a long time. It's been like 4.5 hours. My stomach is grumbling, and I'm scared that my microphone is going to be picking up on that, so I'm really sorry if it is. But yeah, I really hope that this video has been helpful. Hopefully it's answered any questions that you guys may or may not have. I also really apologize for the length of it. I'm starting to regret, and I'm sure I will live to regret when I start editing this, doing 3 drops in one, but it just made the most sense to me, and to have it all in one place for you guys felt like a better idea. So I really hope it's been helpful. Again, promise I will always do my reviews prior to a launch, but there's nothing I can do if I get my stuff super late. Like, my reviews take me a really long time, and I would much rather put out a proper review than have to rush through something and sort of bizarre sort of standards that I've almost set for myself in the past 6 years slip like that. The thought of that really stresses me out. So hopefully this has been the review that you could have wished and dreamed for. I feel like I do put a lot of pressure on myself for these reviews now, so I really hope it has been helpful. Top picks are a bit tricky because some of this stuff is already on the website, but top picks from everything that I have just ran you through: the pump shorts 100% in the scarlet colour, just chef's kiss. The Corrina bra 100% is just so bloody comfortable, and I absolutely love it. The lina bras, I do really like the lina bras as well, but I think that's gonna have to be it. Like I said, I do actually really like the mid-rise contour, but the fabric feels worse than contour normally does. Like, it's really baffling to me how the blue is so sheer. Like, and these things are not cheap. It's very easy when you get sent stuff for free all the time to forget that is like a significant amount of hours work for someone to be working to buy one short or one pair of leggings. Alphalete is not cheap. It's not a cheap brand, so there's no reason for dark blue legging to be completely see-through and look like something, honestly, that you would find in Primark for like £10. Would always rather be 100% honest with you guys in these videos. So yeah, I really hope that this video has been helpful. If you've any questions, please do let me know. If you do shop with my code EVER, please message me so that I can personally thank you for your support, because like I said, it's literally because of you guys that I get to spend 4.5 hours talking about activewear on a Monday morning and afternoon. Like, it's a bit of a weird job, but it's one that I'm very grateful that I have. Everything I have pretty much is because of you guys, so genuinely thank you so much. And if you do like this sort of style of review, just keep supporting because it keeps it coming. I don't like saying stuff like that because it feels highly manipulative, and I'm very wary of my parasocial relationships. And I guess my final note would probably be, please, can we have some fall colours now? Scarlet was a little hint, but I'm ready for more fall colours now, guys. Come on, stop toying around, stop playing around. I need more actual fall colours, because other than scarlet, it's not giving fall, it's giving the height of summer / end of summer. It's nearly November, come on, bring me my winter colours. I'm also slightly biased because I am an autumn colour palette. That's my colour palette. It does suit me more as well, so I'm slightly biased. I'm sat here looking out the window at my very autumnal orange trees, just thinking, yeah, neon green. Okay, I really am going to shut up now. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to and you haven't already. Let me know if you've got any questions. I will get back to all my comments prior to the drop. Message me on Instagram if you need any particular help. I get back to every single message on there. Please never hesitate to reach out. If you do use my code, like I said, it means the world. Please let me know so that I can personally thank you. Don't forget to enter my giveaway, and I'll see you guys in my next video.